Yeah, I'll be feeling that one in the morning.
Our faces collided.
Is there a cleric in the house?
Get lost, you mushroomy git.
Previously on Nameless. Having returned from a harrowing journey into the woods, Nameless were looking forward to recuperating during the Yuletide season. Joining Talisker in her office, Tide and Blaze had their first meeting, with Blaze mistaking Tide for another pet of the team. Once the confusion had cleared up, Talisker invited everyone to sit down and receive their hard-earned gifts. Juromir volunteered to hand out the gifts, which were opened with much gusto. Tide and Endo both receiving a Glamori, which was a small pebble that they learned turned into a fish when placed in water. Tide named his Eddie. Gideon received a Nessian circlet, which when worn turned her eyes black. Much to her surprise, Oinkfat also received a gift, which turned out to be a Zoral skin, which was a book with a thick hide that Gideon discovered when written in could be understood by Oinkfat. Juromir received a thick cape, which puzzled him immensely. He struggled to identify the purpose of the cape, greatly frustrating Talisker, who eventually revealed that it was an Ursa cape that makes bears less hostile towards you when worn. Blaze was very surprised when he also received a gift, even if clumsily wrapped. Given his short time with the team, and he was very happy when it was revealed to be a weapon. On examination, he discovered that the axe was cool to the touch and that he could identify that it was a Zaxlate, an axe made of unmelting grey ice. Talisker was the last to receive her gift, which, when opened, revealed a hand-carved holder with 2 quills inside. Given her experience and knowledge, she was able to identify a Dartix quill, which can turn into a knife, and a Quetzal plume quill that turned all handwriting into beautiful cursive. Pleased with their gifts, Nameless headed through to enjoy a lunch together where Tathra had been preparing the meal. Upon seeing that she hadn't received a gift, Endo felt very sorry for her and gave her his money. Before eating, Nameless was summoned once again to Talisker, who was stressing over her business ledger. Talisker informed the team that a rival guild had set up in town and were bad-mouthing Nameless and taking their jobs. Talisker sent the team out to chase them away. Gideon, infused with the spirit of battle, painted her face with war paint and proceeded to do most of the other members of the team, with Blaze choosing to skip this due to his impressive flaming hair. Stepping out the door, Blaze was instantly hit in the face with a snowball and was confronted with the rival guild, who were set up behind a snowbank and started taunting Blaze and Nameless. Their cheers and insults drew a crowd who gathered to watch the standoff. The rest of Nameless joined Blaze, and a battle of sorts commenced, with each side lobbing snowballs at each other, with the exception of Blaze, who was enraged by the initial assault and proceeded to charge the other guild and flanking them behind a Christmas tree. The battle started friendly enough, but it wasn't long until weapons were drawn. Gideon took this opportunity to rally the crowd to Nameless's side and proceeded to intimidate the other guild while show-ponying. Endo, Tide, and Juromir launched waves of snowballs and battered the rival guild. With the crowd ripped into a frenzy thanks to Gideon, Nameless were able to overpower the inferior rival guild, and Juramir was able to convince their cleric that the best thing for them was to leave town and never return. Running away, Nameless basked in the glory of the chanting crowd, even raising a rare smile from Talisker. The team returned inside their headquarters and sat down to enjoy the delicious meal that had been prepared by Tathra. On with tonight's journey.
Endo would walk up to Tathras and be like, "Hello, Tathras. What did you buy with your money?"
It's just Tathra. It's not Tathras. Just Tathra.
Aye, sorry, Endo had something fall on his head yesterday. Sorry, Tathra. What did you buy with your money?
Nothing yet. I'm saving it for a house.
Oh, that is a really good idea. Don't let anybody take any of it, though. It is just for you, okay?
I mean, yeah. I mean, if you wanted to like come and live in the house, though, you could.
Oh, that is very nice. I don't think Endo would. Endo's never thought about his future. So thank you. That is a very nice offer. Well, you can have some of the food that Endo has made, and I think Talisker wants our attention, so I will be off. I hope you have a nice day.
Okay. Tide, what are you doing, Tide? Why are you in the corner?
So I'm looking for. Do you know when people like put leaflets through the door for like events and takeaways and all that kind of thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I just like rifle through them and see if that psychic's come back to town and she's advertising?
So any leaflets and things that come through would probably be on Taliscar's desk, rather than by the door. She's very tidy. She wouldn't kind of leave them there. As you kind of approach the desk, Taliscar kind of like looks up at you and raises an eyebrow, and she's like, "Yes."
Hi, Talisker. I'm after some, the leaflets that we tend to just, prestidigitate out of the way. Have you left any of them here? I was looking to have a look through it, everything that we could find about stuff that's going on in Daggerford. And I give her a nice nondescript grin.
She kind of like again raises her eyebrow and then just like rifles a little bit on the desk. She's like, "Ugh, this is what came earlier," and passes you a pile of leaflets.
Great, some light reading, current events. I'm here for it. Okay, thank you. Bye. Can I rifle through and try and see if the psychic's in town?
Yeah. Roll investigation for me.
Oh, it was so nearly an 18.
Yeah. You're kind of like looking through. A lot of it seems to be stuff that comes through regularly. So you get a lot of stuff, advertising, Corbus's jewellery and fine ornaments. He seems to send out very fancy looking leaflets all the time, trying to get people to go and stay there. Some stuff about being able to get a loan from the bank, but you can't find anything to do with any psychic coming into town that may have cursed you.
Great. I will pocket the loan leaflet, but I'll just leave everything else on the settee.
Okay, yeah.
No. What are we all doing here, gang? Hello.
Yeah, Talisker is just kind of like writing, and as each one of you come in, she kind of just like looks up expectantly, waiting for you to say something.
You don't need our help yet then, Talisker?
Well, I didn't call for you, did I?
Not yet, no. I'll head back out if you want.
Feel free to sit around if you want. And she kind of like very unsettled kind of continues with what she was doing at the desk.
Oh, and I will go and eat some more.
What's out there, Lynn? What is this?
What is what?
I'm gonna just poke my head out and look at what is this that's appeared in the
What?
At the front.
Yeah. What is this? There's a thing out. I'm poking my head out this window up top. What is this thing?
There are 2 tents that have popped up out front, but they've been there for quite a while since the snow faded away.
Okay. Do I know what they are? Who they are?
No, probably not. You haven't been out there, I don't think, or you haven't checked them out.
Psychics. Oh. Hi. Do you need anything? I was going to go outside. Do you need anything? Hi. Who are you?
She looks. This woman. She's very well dressed. She's got quite a noble looking dress on. A lot of jewelry. You could tell that she looks like she comes from a lot of money. She's kind of like she's about to open the door as you appear at it, and she's like, hello, hello there. Are you? Is this? Do you run this place?
I've been explicitly advised not to talk to any customers. Would you like to come in?
Yes. She kind of like very hesitantly starts following you into the building.
Alaska, there's a person here. I didn't speak to them or say anything bad. I promise.
Very well. Bring them here.
Come with me, please.
This woman is just like very curious, kind of watching you. She's like, thank you. Why is it you're not allowed to speak to the customers?
Well, I thought, did you not say? I usually
Talaskar kind of interjects as you start speaking. She's like,
because I'm a cat and cats can't speak, and I just very sadly walk towards the door.
The noble woman kind of moves over to Talaskar, and as you're kind of leaving the room, you hear her start to speak, and they are having a conversation. Is anybody listening in on the conversation? Or
I would like to try and listen in.
I knew it. I could see
I'm
Gideon
also
there.
intensely listening.
Okay, yeah, roll perception for me.
Do you remind me we're looking for that book still?
Oh Lord! Look, there's been a refurb. The book is gone. Forget the book. Oh wow! Look at those rolls. Yeah, you hear absolutely everything. You can hear them breathing. Yeah. Okay. So it was Gideon and Tide. So yeah, as you're kind of stood by the door and Oink Fat, I guess, you can hear this very posh talking woman talking to Talaskar about how she has a contract for some adventurers. She mentioned, you would hear her mention 800 gold coins each as the reward for it, and that she has been hired by a powerful wizard. And that is what you can hear them talking about as you are standing by the door.
I think it's that dream wizard again, dear Gideon.
Oh no, not him.
Oh, he was a right twat, wasn't he?
Did she say 800 gold?
Each.
Okay, well, we need this job. Hold on. I'm going to adjust my circlet on my head, which I never take off now, till my eyes are black. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to gesture to Oink Fat to stay where he is, and I'm going to quickly try and smooth down my cloak and make myself look presentable, and then I'm just, in the most confident fashion that you have ever seen, stroll into the room with my cloak billowing behind me, and I'm going to say, "Oh, Talaskar, do you have a job for us?"
And as she strolled in, I'm going to thaumaturgy and make a clap of thunder as she enters the room. Just
okay, yeah. Roll performance for me, Gideon.
Oh no.
You can do that with advantage because Tide is helping you try and be impressive.
Better.
That's better, yeah. So as you kind of walk in, like, Talisker looks up like, why are you walking in here straight away? Like, what is going on? And the woman kind of turns and sees you with this billowing cloak and thunder and black eyes, looking very, what is going on with that dog? Looking very kind of impressive. She's like, ah, well, this is much more impressive than the cat. Yes, I'm looking for a group of adventurers.
Well, you've come to the right place, of course. I'm Gideon, leader of the Nameless Adventuring Guild. How can we help you?
As you say, leader of the Nameless Adventuring, Talisker is just tapping her fingernails on her desk, like looking at you, and it's like, yes, how is it that we can help you here? Gideon is one of my employees. And she says it with such, like, disdain.
I immediately go, I'm like, leader of the employees. I'm like the one in charge, really, when you think about it. You know, when we're out in the world doing things.
Talisker kind of, again, gives you, like, a bit of a withering look. And he's like, yes, well, maybe the best of a peculiar bunch, I would say. Anyway, you were saying something about a creature. You should let Gideon know. She'll pass it on to the other employees.
At this point, Endo walks in. He's quiet as a mouse, and he's just eating a sandwich, listening and watching everybody as it's dripping onto his belly.
Talisker just, like, rolls her eyes and, like, puts her head in her hands as the woman kind of turns to look at Gideon again. Still looking quite impressed by Gideon. She's like, well, yes, so you're the leader. I can see that. You look quite impressive. You use magic, I assume.
Well, you know, I have a few tricks up my sleeve.
Fantastic, yes. Well, I'm here on behalf of the powerful wizard. Now, he's detected a mysterious beast hiding upon the Thunder Peak Mountains. Do you know them?
Oh, yes, of course. I'm very familiar with the surrounding areas. Just remind me again where they are.
You need reminding where. What?
Just you know, just out. We go, you know, after so many creatures, so many beasts. Go here, kill that. Go here, save this town. You know, we travel around a lot, and I just want to be certain that I'm telling the rest of my adventuring band exactly where we're going.
The Thunder Peak Mountains. They're in the east, past the Stormhorns and Hulak Forest. Do you know it?
Yes, I do. I know it very well.
I see. Well, basically, to put it simply, and I'm sure you can manage it, and she just now clocks Endo and kind of, like, glances at him. And he's like, is he part of your guild?
No, he's just the chef. You understand?
Hello, I'm Endo.
I'm gonna mage hand my skeletal hand and, like, shoo him away.
Okay, yeah.
Oh no, you're not having my sandwich. Oh.
Right. Very impressive there. I can see you're in control here, clearly.
Oh yes, of course. Please go on.
Yes, well, to put it simply, the wizard wants you to find, slay, and recover the remains of this mysterious beast. He wishes to study its corpse. It's rather unique.
Oh, does it have magical properties? Particular, uh, some kind of special attack that he wants to summon? Is its hide made out of some alchemical ingredient?
Well, that's probably. He would know better about that kind of thing. I kind of zone out a little when it comes to that. But I am willing to pay 800 gold coins each if you manage to return the corpse.
If we manage, madam, there would be no doubt that we see the job through. Might we find your wizard benefactor, employer, colleague? Might we talk to them about this beast? Maybe gather a little bit more information so we understand what we're dealing with?
Well, he doesn't like dealing with commoners. But I suggest you start at the town of Falton. I believe that many of the inhabitants there saw this creature.
Has the creature been causing trouble in the town?
I think they saw it fly by.
Fly, you say?
That's just what I've heard, of course. I do have to let you know as well that you are not the only group of adventurers that I've contracted. I've been in touch with the... what were they called? They did say they were called the Daggerford Adventuring Guild, but they've changed their name recently. I can't remember what it was called, but they're also on the mission.
Are they?
Of course, the first one's back with the corpse. Get the gold.
And you said it was 800 each?
Yes, 800 each.
And perhaps a bonus for the winning party?
No. You get the 800 if you bring back the corpse. If you bring back nothing, you get, well, nothing.
Well, very well. I will consider this offer, see if it's worth our time after expenses. You did say you wanted the best adventuring guild on this, didn't you?
Yes, good point. I'd like to see the rest of your guild, if that's all right.
Yes, of course. I'll be back. I'm going to head into the kitchen. And I'm going to go, Endo, just stay here. You just stay here. Don't come. Jeremiah, you come with me. Where's Blaze? Blaze? Has anyone seen Blaze?
No. I can come.
Yes, of course, Tide, of course.
Literally stood there just staring at you like a really upset child. And he's got his head down and he's really upset and he's got a tear in his eye. You don't understand why he's just the chef.
Endo, that woman's really mean. I don't want you to come and talk to her.
Oh, but why did you say I was just a chef? I'm Endo.
You're a chef. You keep us alive. You feed us food. You protect us. You're so much more than just the chef, Endo. It's just...
But why did you say that to that lady?
Well, sometimes you just have to paint a picture and play into people's expectations so that we can get the element of surprise when we need it. And
Endo doesn't know how to paint. I don't understand what you're saying.
Sometimes you just have to tell a lie for good reasons.
Did you lie? You lied? What is going on?
I'm working on making us really, really rich. But everybody, I need you to look as impressive as you can possibly look. I need you to go out there with your best weapons, your game faces on. We need to go and prove to this woman that we are worth more than 800 gold each.
Endo just puts his head down and turns around and walks away really slowly, upset.
I pull out the sensor in one hand and longbow in the other. Because you can't overdo it.
Like, yes, Jeremy, good, go on. And I like shove him through the door. And then I'm gonna. So Gideon is also wearing. She's like stitched like a leather band into the book that she can write in for Oinkfat. So she's wearing it like a satchel almost, and she swings it round. And I'm gonna write in the book, "Go and comfort Endo," and show it to Oinkfat.
Yep. Okay. So Oinkfat immediately wanders off and kind of goes over and starts like nuzzling Endo and kind of trying to give him his paw.
Endo strokes him.
Kind of seeing him upset as well, Tathra will also kind of wander over and like sit on the floor next to Endo. Just be like, it's okay. I don't think she was being mean. And being a chef is I'm a chef too.
I know, but I don't know what I did wrong.
I don't think you did anything wrong. I think... Listen, when I was out on the streets, I saw people like that lady all the time. They have so much money that they're mean to everybody else. And I think Gideon's trying to protect you from her.
But why was she mean to me? When Endo protects people, he's not. I don't hurt people's feelings or hurt them.
But would you want that mean lady in there to say something that would upset you?
This is my home.
Yes,
That
but
lady would have to leave.
really, you think Talisker would make somebody who's offering 800 gold coins each leave? I don't think so, Endo. It's best that we just stay in here, away from the meanness, and enjoying the food.
Okay. I'm still sad though.
Maybe eat some more food?
Food is not love.
As you say that, she throws her arms around you and gives you a hug.
Endo smiles a bit.
I'm also going to very quickly run to Endo and just give you a quick lick on the cheek and say, "It's all right, buddy. We'll have bad ones later. It's all good. It's all good." And then I'm just going to turn around. I want to cast Thaumaturgy again to make my eyes glow bright white.
Okay.
And then Silent Image kind of centered on myself, so it moves as I move. Of me, like, with the most... I think it looks really cool and really, like strong, and it's like my aura pulsing out of me, but really it just looks like very vivid rainbow colours flying out everywhere. And I'm just going to walk in again and stare at this woman that said I was just a cat.
Okay, yep. Gideon, Blaze.
I'm like, you ready for this, Blaze? Need you to look impressive.
Well, yep. Blaze has been in the training room, so he's dripping with sweat, no shirt on. Yeah.
And that's it. That's all he needs to look impressive.
So what's this about? What have you broken up my training for? Who's this? What's this fancy woman doing? What's going on?
Well, this is the Adventuring Guild, then.
Yes, this is Blaze, most impressive warrior in our guild. I've seen him do things with an axe you wouldn't believe. This is Jeremiah, best shot anywhere in Daggerford and beyond. And my friend Tide, he does things with magic you cannot even conceive of.
There's a crack of light, and when it vanishes, my shirt just says "just a cat," apparently, but in Tide's awful handwriting.
What does that? I can't even read that.
It's in a language you cannot even fathom.
Yes, well, you seem quite impressive, yes.
Quite impressive?
Well, you know, the other guilds seemed very impressive as well.
You were talking to the Nameless Adventuring Guild. We've taken on ghosts. We've taken on pirates. They were sort of pirate ghosts. We've taken on all sorts of creatures, zombies and wizards, and been to mind palaces and different planes of existence. And here we are.
Actually, I'm new. I've been old hags in the woods. Showed them what for. Well, no, one knocked me out. But showed the rest of them what for.
As Blaze is talking, like, you can see that this woman's face is kind of changing a little, and she's like, I see. So, So the three of you took on ghosts and mind palaces and wizards?
Oh, yes. And more besides.
That's
Even the
very...
occasional owlbear.
that is impressive.
Didn't Endo help with that?
There's another one.
And
the
they did
guy
well,
mentioned.
No.
yeah.
No, this is the guild. This is everyone. This is everyone for the moment.
Is Endo leaving?
Taliskai's just sat with her head in her hands. Like, just like... Endo, would you come in here, please?
Is there a job? Do I need to be here for this? Can I go back and train?
Endo just comes to the door and he just pokes his little teary face in. He's like, "Hello, Taliska. What do you need?"
Come here, please.
But Gideon said not to come in the room.
Gideon does not run this guild. Do you, Gideon?
Like, I look at Talisker for about 2.5 seconds, and then I just like look away, and I'm like, no, Talisker.
This is Endo. He
So
is
Endo sticks
quite
his
an
head in.
impressive warrior.
He just sticks his head in and he just waves with his little teary face. He's like, "Hello."
The woman kind of looks very confused, and she's like, I thought he was just the chef.
He
No.
is.
Endo has taken down big things. I killed a troll with my bare hands. Its head is in the kitchen.
Endo is our resident sumo. He's very dangerous in close combat.
Ah, well. You're a bit more unconventional than the other guild, but... what the heck? Yes, I think I'll hire you. 800 gold each.
Sold.
I always get covered in blood when I go out on adventures, though.
Me too.
It's like on my
Okay.
butt a lot.
You two could end up, not staying until everyone's dead, but you two were doing you. We'll look around you.
The woman is just kind of watching as this conversation is going on, and she's like, yes, well, is that acceptable? 800 for the corpse of the creature?
I just
What
look
if-
at Talisker.
Yeah, the woman kind of like looks at you and then sees you looking at Talisker and kind of turns. Talisker's like, yes, I think that's acceptable. Is it not, Gideon?
How many creatures are there? Because if this is just the one, then,
Why does it have to be dead? What if we brings it back alive?
I don't think it would be safe to bring it back alive. It's rather dangerous from what I've heard.
But how much would you pay us if it was alive?
Less, because it may kill us all.
Not with Endo around. I will make sure it doesn't kill you.
We would prefer it dead.
Oh, okay. Like dead. Full dead.
Full dead.
Yes, is there an other kind of dead?
Oh yeah, there's lots of different types of dead. In Dead Hide.
Yes, quite. We know unfathomable things about dead things you wouldn't understand.
Well, yes, you do seem to know things. Well, yes, so, among the Thunder Peaks, your leader here, and she kind of gestures at Gideon, it's like, seems to know the way. Right?
Yes.
Are you, Gideon? I thought you weren't from around here.
The woman kind of sighs.
Know where OC, would any of us actually know where it is?
Probably, I mean, it's quite away from anywhere that you guys have been before, so probably not.
Yeah, Endo's from a monastery in the mountains, but I don't think it's going to be way further than that. There's no flying creatures where Endo comes from.
Right, I just... You seemed very confident, young lady, that you knew where everything was and that you were the leader of this guild, and now everything seems to be in question. Are you capable of this mission?
Oh, we've definitely got the mission done, but do you have a map? I'm good with maps. I can get us where we need to go if you've got a map.
I'm sure we will find some way of locating this mountain range and the beast within and returning with the corpse. So, where's the person who's allowing you to spend their money residing?
Just after that, Endo walks up next to Gideon, puts his arm round her, and looks the lady in the eye, and turns around and says, "I will have you know, Gideon is tremendously capable. If it wasn't for her, there would be less of us stood here."
Because you would be dead?
Yes, we lost a friend who was part of the group, and if it wasn't for Gideon, many more of us might have died.
That's why I'm here.
Right. I see. Well, I'm sure you're perfectly capable of this, then. You won't be speaking with the wizard directly. He doesn't deal with commoners, as I've said before. Head to the town of Fulton. It's near the Thunder Peaks, and you should be able to track the creature from there.
Is there anyone in... Did you say Felton?
Fulton.
Fulton. Is there anyone in Fulton that we need to speak to?
Well, I believe the residents there did see this creature, so they may be able to help direct you.
Okay. The mayor hasn't hired the wizard to hire you.
No.
Sort of scenario.
Fulton is a tiny, tiny fishing town that doesn't even have a mayor, I don't think.
I love fish.
Well,
Blaze lifts up his arm and sniffs his armpit. Like, it does produce flame in his hand and sort of drying his sweat with the fire in his hand.
the woman looks absolutely mortified as she's kind of stood watching. She's like, right, yes. I'll be staying in town for a while. So, yes, payment upon return.
Sure.
Right. And she kind of looks around the group, very uncertain, kind of disgusted by Blaze, confused by Tide. She's just kind of, well, right, yes. Goodbye then. Yes. And she kind of starts heading out as Talisker kind of is still sat with her head in her hands.
Oh, bloody hell. Well, she was a bit of a talker, wasn't she? We're going to go. Are you ready? Should we go?
Gideon's just a bit like
strange.
Gideon's like a bit hunched over, and she like just slowly like pulls her hood up to hide her face.
Yeah, if she was looking at Talisker, Talisker has kind of looked up and is just staring at Gideon.
Oh dear.
Just like unmoving, unflinching, just staring at Gideon.
So we know where we're going. We know who we need to talk to. Everybody got the things they need?
But what is this creature? How am I? How is any of us supposed to get it? It's flying. In case nobody has noticed, Endo does not fly.
It flies. Oh yeah.
Endo, well,
Mhm.
I'll let you look into a little secret, my friend. If you throw things in the air, things that fly fall to the ground. And when they fall to the ground, they can be hugged and pinned to the ground.
Endo's got an idea. I could throw one of you up to the flying creature to kill it.
Oh no. No. Endo, this isn't like you did with Adri. This is more like, you know, if I was to shoot those arrows at it, it would then come to fight me, and rather than fighting me, you jump on its side and pin it to the ground.
Okay, that sounds
Unless
good.
It's a dragon. Then it could just stay up there and breathe fire down at us.
If it's a dragon, but
Endo doesn't
I'm
say
fairly
anything. He just
certain-
looks straight at Blaze with really big eyes, like.
I'm fairly certain a dragon is worth more than 800 gold pieces.
Well, I'll be asking for more if it is.
Blaze. What do you mean a dragon can just fly around and shoot fire at us? Please explain.
Fire, acid, ice, whatever type of dragon it is. It's flap
I'm sorry,
wings, breathe, dead, usual stuff.
I'm sorry, what? Endo, what?
Imagine, okay, dragons have a store of some sort of element within their bodies.
Okay.
They open their mouth and they unleash that element upon whoever's annoying them. Be it.
Okay, I think Endo got that with the fire from the mouth lying around.
They have wings.
Talisker,
Yes.
is Endo needed on this mission?
Yes. All of
Yes.
you needed.
Oh, okay. Okay, Endo ready. Oh,
Yeah, gang, I think we're missing the most crucial part of this whole mission, right? I mean, it's a race. Why are we all stood here? Let's go. Let's get a cart. Let's run. Let's go. It's a race. We need to win. Let's go.
Who is this other
Race. The snowball
Right.
people.
Oh
Hi.
my god, they're not gonna win.
Hyde, you forget one very important detail.
What?
They don't care who kills the creature, just that it's dead.
Yeah, but we have to get there first or they get the money, so we need to run because it's a race. We need to win.
No, Doramaya is right. Listen to him. I know what you mean, Doramaya.
So long as the other team kill it, and then we return with the corpse, leave them empty-handed,
Yeah.
we get the money.
Talisker,
Yes.
seeing as we've chased the others out of town, and will now all be out of town on a mission, if something was to befall the other group, that wouldn't be a problem, would it?
Roll insight for me. Okay. She kind of like looks, because she has been staring at Gideon this whole time, even as she was like, yes, when you spoke to her. She kind of flicks her eyes towards you and she's like, I don't know what you mean.
Gotcha.
And then kind of like looks back and you see a slight, very slight kind of like smirk, like on the, like just on the corners of her mouth. And then she looks to be looking straight back at Gideon again.
Gideon just like looks like Gideon is like got her arms folded across her chest. She's just like she's basically trying to hide and like make herself as small as possible so nobody can see it.
I've got some potions from the garden. So, who wants a greater healing potion, and who wants a force resistance, and who wants a cold resistance potion?
I feel I'll probably be at the front taking a few hits. I might take the healing.
Okay, I'll pass you one of the greater healing potions.
Can I have a red one, please, Jeremiah? I like the flavor.
Oh, you mean the healing potion?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there you go. Then I'll pass you the other one.
Thank you.
Maybe you can hold on to them if you want. We can always. I mean, we need to go, guys. We need to go. If they kill the thing and then hide away, we won't find them, and then we'll lose. And we need the money.
How are we getting there?
Well, we're not getting anywhere right now.
There is a cart outside, as always.
Don't forget everybody to grab something to eat before you go.
Fish?
I'm gonna have a quick shower. I stink like a racehorse.
Gideon's not going to say anything, but she's just going to go outside.
Yeah, as you're kind of walking, you can feel Taliscar's eyes following you until you kind of go out of her sight. And then she starts kind of scribbling again on the papers on the desk.
Lighters.
I'm just going to very quickly walk up to Taliscar and just say, does this mean I can talk to people again instead of Gideon?
Brutal.
Oh my god, Savage.
Well, best to leave the talking to me, I think, Tide.
Yeah. All right, that's fine. I tried. Foiled again. See you in a bit. Bye.
Good luck.
Oh, thank you. That's a rarity. Thank you. Bye.
Okay. So, the cart is waiting for you outside, as always. And I will put you on the whole Sword Coast map so you can see exactly where you're going. It may take a little while to load because it is a big map.
Wow, it's a big map.
It's a big map.
Are we taking the old boat? Oh, because they mentioned it was a fishing village. So
You are not
we
taking it.
could go
It's
by
not
boat.
up. It's not up. You are not.
Daggerford.
So Daggerford is here.
Okay, yep, gotcha.
And, I'm sure that Gideon would know exactly where the Thunder Peaks are.
Yes.
Yes? Where are the Thunder Peaks, Gideon?
Gideon's just searching her mind.
Yeah.
Just
Scouring that
thinking,
map like crazy.
just thinking about it. They're down here, the Thunder
They
Peaks.
are down there.
That's a long journey.
It is a
It
long
is.
journey.
See what it's taking. 3 days, 3 sessions.
Yeah, just the journey. That's it.
Yeah.
No other context to the campaign. It is just you on the road for however long. So we
Wow.
are not going to do the whole journey. Because
I think
that
we should.
really, because the whole journey, let's have a
Oh
look,
good god.
would take about
A year and a half.
25 days.
Oh jeez.
That seems fair and reasonable.
Would you like to RP that each time?
On the road again.
Because it may be, you know, it may.
What about 3 RPs, 1 for each week?
One for each week.
So it's about 3 weeks journey to get there.
Sure. So let's see how.
Did you prep for this, Lynn?
Yeah. I obviously I didn't think
Or
that
not.
you would just want to skip this. I totally prepped for it, so don't worry. Where's Daggerford? Daggerford is there. Let's see. To there? Yeah, okay. Okay, so you would be able to get to kind of about, hang on, where the hell is Daggerford? Down here on your first, maybe a bit further, like here on your first week. Who is doing, what are you doing? Who's doing that?
The Forest of Worms.
The Forest of Worms, yeah. So, yeah. So what would you be talking about on your journey, guys? Totally prepped.
Endo would sleep all the way.
What, for a whole week?
Yeah, it's the cold months he hibernates.
It's the cold months. So you're on the Tradeway, which is one of the big roads in the Sword Coast anyway. So as you're kind of travelling along, there would be numerous other carts and various groups of people, some people walking, guards kind of patrolling and things like that. It's quite a safe road, so you wouldn't come across any kind of traumatic instances or anything like that. Yeah, kind of like a motorway. So it's very, very busy. Even into the night, it is quite busy as well. How are you fitting on this cart?
Endo walks most of the time anyway because he's used to it. So he would probably
He's
leave plenty of
walking?
space. He would probably leave plenty of space for everybody else.
I'll
And when-
be up front driving the animals. So
Anytime that somebody actually gets off the cat to stretch their legs or something like that, then yeah, he'd probably just jump on and sit down for a bit. But he's used to walking long distances.
Okay. So just for reference, if Endo was walking, you would obviously be slower as a group.
Oh. Oh no! He's used to marching everywhere, so he's used to going quite quick.
Just the same speed as a horse pulling a cart quite quickly.
Hold on, let me just check his speed. He's got a good speed. He's got good speed. He could possibly run, but I don't guarantee that he's going to be the same size as he is now when he gets there.
Okay, I think for the sake of this, we will say that you are able to fit on the cart because otherwise
On the
it
back of
will
the cart,
take you
yeah.
about 40 days to get there.
Okay, Endo is sat on the back of the cart, kicking his little feet backwards and forwards. Moving on.
Okay, yeah. So would you spend the time getting to know each other better, getting to know Blaze a little better? Maybe?
yeah,
Oh yeah.
The driver who is like driving you guys is paying no attention to. He is you had a grumpy driver before. He's the same guy. He has like no interest in talking to you guys at all. He is constantly, he's like, you know, that like grumpy old man thing where they mumble under their breath. They're kind of like talking to themselves, but like kind of grumbling. He's doing that pretty much the whole way when he's not falling asleep while driving the car.
I feel like I keep minor illusioning like
Love it.
tiny potholes or rocks on the road just to keep him on his toes.
Yeah, so occasionally everybody else would feel the cart kind of swerve to one side and then steady kind of back up again as you
Oh, good save, thanks driver. Appreciate that. Appreciate you.
state of these roads. I don't know why we pay our taxes.
Oh, it's awful, isn't it? Oh,
He kind of just goes back to grumbling again.
How are you finding the new training room? Well, say the current training room in the HQ place.
I mean, I've never actually had a training room before, so this is the digs are lush, man. I love it.
Yeah, that room's quite useful. It helps with quite a lot of combat when you've get your eye in on things.
Yeah, I mean, I keep feeling I have to hold back. I don't want to like break stuff in there, but yeah, it's a great setup you guys have got there. I can see why you all enjoy this guild.
Oh yeah, when we can afford things, I glance over at Gideon. We can help improve ourselves even better.
How do you mean?
Well, certain rooms, like say a library, cost a certain amount that we can put money towards. So as we come back from missions, rather than spending all our gold on ourselves, we can spend it in the guild and new rooms get added.
Nice. I'd love a library.
It's a bit of a pyramid scheme, to be honest, because it's not even our building; it's Taliscar's. But you know, what can you do?
She's kind of terrifying, right? It's not just me.
Yeah, no, she's...
Endo just looks at him and just nods.
Tide,
yeah.
what's a pyramid scheme? I've
Like
never heard of it before.
so like people are like, oh, you need to pay to invest some money and then you'll make some money, but then we'll make more money because we're the people that make money off all the money that you make, and then you have to buy to make more money. It's kind of like that, like we get better but only because we spend more money on something that we don't actually own. Capitalist nightmare, basically. It's the same as these awful roads. Watch out, driver! And I manually lose another ball.
Yeah, he kind of swerves even more dramatically this time. But kind of in his mind just hits the edge of this kind of pothole and is just baffled about why the car actually doesn't like topple over or anything. He's kind of like looking like, what? Oh, I need some sleep, I think.
No, you're fine. Keep going.
Well, that's easy for you to say. You're not doing any work, are you?
I'm
If you
doing
want,
lots
I
of
can
work.
take over.
Take over.
Right.
You expect me to let you drive my car? I wouldn't have thought so. There's adventurers just thinking they can own everything. You don't own this. You don't own me.
You don't own me.
Look, I was just offering to help you out so you get some sleep. That was all.
Well, I don't need your help. Thank you very much.
Can I get my pamphlet
Huh?
out and just do the tune to "You Don't Own Me," please? Just in the background. For the
Yeah, roll performance.
No. Oh, actually, yes. No, I can. Yeah, I'm good at performance.
You should be, aren't you, Bard?
Oh my god, yes.
Yeah, you start performing the best version of that song ever.
Doo-doo.
That is not that.
This is beautiful, Lynn.
What's Gideon up to on this journey?
I think Gideon's probably just like sulking a little bit still. I think she's probably just in her own little emo world. Like, I actually imagine that she's sitting next to the driver but never says a word to him.
He would
It's
like
just
that.
like-
He's
Yeah.
loving that.
Like, just sitting at the front of the next to him on the front seat with her hood up and Oinkfat next to her. Actually, no, I imagine Oinkfat's in the back with everybody else. And she's just having a little bit of teenage angst, I think.
Oh, poor Gideon. Yeah, so the journey kind of continues. He stops at various inns, but kind of coming up to the end of a week is like, oh, I think I'm gonna take the next day off. I think I'm gonna stop at the next village, and you guys can stay there for the night.
What village is that, driver? Do you know? Do you know the way?
Do you know the way? Suba is the next village.
Bless you. What village?
He kind of like glares at you. He's like, Suba.
Oh, not my mistake. Sorry. Oh!
He kind of like doesn't quite swerve as dramatically. He's kind of clocked on now that there may be something going on. Kind of like just slightly moves so that the horse doesn't step into it, but then carries on.
Can I thaumaturgy and make the cart rumble?
Yes.
Great, I'll do that just as he doesn't swerve.
Yeah, he looks panicked. He kind of like, what the is the cart okay? Are the wheels? Is everything all right?
I warned you. What? It's all right. It's all right. I think it looks all right. Does it look all right, gang? Does it look?
I'll have a look out. I'll just stick my head out of one side of the car and be like, the wheels are still on this side.
Great.
I think we got lucky. Yeah, let's stop at Subar.
Yeah, let's. And he kind of like glares a little bit and then carries on. And then within the next few hours, you pull up to a very small village. It's very, very basic. Few houses there, but it's mostly actually just an inn with a few houses surrounding it and a couple of farms a little bit further off. It seems to be quite busy. There's quite a few carts kind of pulled up near to the inn, outside the inn, and quite a few people wandering around.
Is it obvious to tell which cart belongs to who, or is it just a mixture of random carts?
It's just random carts, so you wouldn't know which belongs to who. They're just kind of wooden carts. Some look a little bit fancier than others, but nothing particularly. Like, nothing would draw your attention to be like, oh, that looks like very noble people, because they wouldn't stop in this village. The driver kind of pulls up, ties the horse up, gets down, and he's like, oh, my back. Well, off you go. Get off the cart. I'm staying here for the night.
Right. All right. Great.
Yeah,
Come on,
would
gang.
we have learnt cart driver's name by now?
Would you have learnt his name? He probably hasn't told you his name. He's
I've
just
definitely been calling him driver.
yeah. He has very little interest in speaking to you.
Socialization.
Yeah. So as you kind of get down off the cart, there's a few other people kind of milling around. A couple of farmers that seem to have just be coming from where the farm is up north into the town, as if they're heading to the inn to get some drinks as it's getting in the evening. And the inn sounds quite rowdy. There's a lot of noise coming from in there.
Sounds like my kind of venue.
I don't have a map for it because, you know, we're flying by the seat of my DM pants right now. So, theatre of the mind, people.
I'll get the drinks. Who wants what?
Oh, make it a beer this time.
I'll take one of those ginormous, big, huge, like, things with beer. Please.
Big tankards.
That one. That will do. Thank you.
I'm trying to be good. Let's get a spiced milk or something not alcoholic, please. Thank you. Don't tempt me.
See what I can do. I mean, it's a tavern, but yeah, we'll see.
Yep, so if you're heading into the tavern, this you guys have been in a lot of taverns, but this one is really run down. It's like all of the like benches and seats are kind of partly broken. It's quite dingy and dark in there, and behind the bar is a half-orc who looks very, very stressed. A male half-orc who's very stressed. There's a lot of people kind of yelling their orders at him. There's quite a queue at the bar, so it's like 3 people deep at the bar. It's obviously a very busy time of day as he's kind of stressing out while he's trying to pour all these drinks.
Can we see anybody that we recognise from the other guild?
Roll perception for me.
Yeah, I would be scanning around as well to have a look for anybody in the guild, from the other guild. Let's see if I can see them.
Yeah, anybody who wants to have a mooch around, see if they can see them, can. Gideon,
Can I scan
you
for
see
psychic?
nothing?
Yeah. I'm still sulking.
Yeah, you're very distracted.
Yeah.
Endo just sees a bar with drinks.
Yes. Yeah, it's very busy in here. You're kind of like... This is probably the busiest inn that you've been in, Endo, in terms of loudness as well. So you're probably kind of a little bit like, ooh, like, what is this?
A bit
Duramiah,
disorientated.
you kind of have a scan around and you do not recognize any faces from the other guild. Tide, were you scanning for a psychic?
Yeah, I was looking for this witch.
Okay, roll perception for me. You're hunting this woman down, aren't you? That's going to be a side quest. just for
Why?
fun. You see
Oh my
nothing.
God.
It's very busy. It's very busy.
And you're short.
And you're very short. Well, it's not actually. He's like 5.
No, this is my one
five-
tall character ever. Like, I've
like
got to own it.
5'7" or something. 5'6".
Yeah.
Depends on if Endo went through first. If Endo went through first, all I can see is Endo's butt.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Ty's kind of like jumping to try and see around Endo. Cannot. Yep, so nobody can see any members of the guild or any psychics that have cursed anybody, even though they deserved it.
What about a book? Can anybody see a book?
No.
Not here. That book is in the library, I imagine, by this point in time. I'd be better off going there and getting it rather than trying to find it in the guild at this point.
Yeah, I feel like by now Talaskar's found it and just gone, what the hell is this? And then just put it in the library.
The library we don't yet own, so you
Yep.
know.
That you can't access. She maybe can. She just locks it down so you can't. What is everybody
Just
doing?
have 3 tools at that point in time.
I'm making my way over to the bar. You said it's quite crowded. How tall are the other people queuing for the bar?
So most of them are humans, so they're kind of probably between like 5 foot and 6 foot. Like they're not like gigantic.
Cool.
You would stand out if that's what you're aiming
no,
for.
I'm looking for the smaller people at the bar, and I'm basically just going to start like walking up and nudging and pushing my way through the smaller people, just pushing my way through to the front of the bar.
Yeah. So a lot of them would kind of move anyway, because obviously you look quite intimidating.
Yeah, I was only that look back, I was like growl at me like, "Ugh."
Yeah, roll intimidation for me. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. So there's a few as you start heading towards the bar, the kind of ones that are at the back of this kind of crowd waiting to get served. As soon as they notice you, they start kind of moving out the way. They're like, yeah, whatever. We're not going to bother with this guy. Like a gap forms in front of you. But as you get a little bit closer, there is a pair of brothers kind of stood there. Quite muscular guys, about like 6 foot-ish, maybe. And they kind of like look behind them, see you come in, kind of raise an eyebrow a little, go to move, and then kind of stand there a little bit longer. And they're kind of like, yeah, there's a queue.
I'll slap my hand onto both of their asses and like, you guys buying me a drink?
What? No, you go. It's fine.
Move away.
It's
Yeah, move aside.
They both look absolutely traumatized. They kind of like both kind of shuffle off to one side together, and they're like, "What?" A couple of the others try and like head into the gap that you've kind of caused, so that they're directly behind you now, like the kind of ones that were further back, and the brothers have no like. They just let them pass. They're so thrown by what you've done. They've kind of been pushed to the back of the queue. As you get to the front, the half-orc barman has just finished serving someone and kind of turns to you with just utter, like, just exhausted, like, face. And he's like, yeah.
Oh, my good man. You're running a great shop here. I can see how hard you're working. I'm gonna slide him across. How much would drinks roughly be? I'm so out of practice at this.
So a mug of ale would be about 4 copper pieces each.
Okay. I'm gonna slide him across 2 silver and go, this is for all your hard work. And then on top of that, could I grab 3 beers, something not alcoholic? If you have spiced milk, I understand you probably don't. Otherwise, something non-alcoholic. And I look back at Gideon and I'm like, and something spicy. I don't know, surprise me.
It kind of, as you're saying, like, oh, something non-alcoholic, spiced milk, it kind of like, just this utterly confused look, and he's like, right, yeah, thanks for, yeah, I'll be right back. And he kind of like hurries off, pours the ales first, because, you know, that's the simpler thing, puts them down, and then kind of stands looking at a various amount of like wines that he's got, pours a glass of wine and puts it down. He's like, that's spicy, don't know, not sure. And then kind of
old enough to drink.
Turns again and is like really confused and comes back with some water and puts it down, and he's like, non-alcoholic.
Some, what was it?
Water.
Perfect. And how much will this all set me back?
Just, you've already paid me 2 silver. Just another silver is fine.
And I'll flick that over to him as well. Keep up the good work, my strong man.
He kind of like nods, and as soon as he's finished serving you, people are like leaning over the bar, shouting, trying to get his attention. Kind of lets out a sigh and then turns and starts serving them as well. As you kind of head away from the bar, the 2 brothers are like trying to keep as far away, like they're quite close to you because of how packed the bar is, but they've like turned so that their butts are not facing you, and they're kind of like pressed up against the other people.
I'll give him a wink and a kiss. Like, have a good night, fellas.
They're like, oh, as if they're going to say something to you, but then they think twice about it and kind of like both look down. And then if you look back, you would see them kind of like almost like punching each other, going, why didn't you say anything? Like, you should have said something. Like, they're kind of like arguing amongst themselves.
I'll approach the table, plops them down. Here you go, everybody. Don't know you well enough yet, sorry. Night Angel, I got your wine. And Puss in Boots, they had water.
I look very sadly at the water, but all I'm thinking about is that I need some boots. Boots. I could get boots. I've got the
Yes,
radio.
you did get some knee-high boots tied. You know,
Yeah,
oh no,
I could rock boots. Boots.
knee-highs. Imagine it.
Thanks, Blaze. Appreciate it for the Cleo milk. Thanks.
Yeah, look, I mean, this isn't a big place, so I didn't think he was going to have too much available.
Here's
So
the
good.
beer, though.
Cheers.
Cheers. Guys, are we cheersing? Everybody else?
Yep.
Just us?
I'll raise my tankard.
Yeah, Endo raises his like big container of beer.
Sadly, raise mine.
Oh.
What do you normally drink? I'll make sure I learn it for next time.
I don't know, rum maybe.
Oh, Rob, I wouldn't have had you pegged as a rum lady. Nice one.
Well, we drank some with some friends a while back, and it's the only thing I've ever really drunk, actually.
They sound like good friends.
Yeah, they're okay.
If I can meet these people one day.
We may do when we head into Waterdeep.
Oh, that shithole.
You say that. I mean, Trollspool Manor is amazing.
Wow. Anyway, this journey's... This is a long trip.
Yeah.
I mean, I've travelled around, but this is... Yeah, I've not travelled this far.
We're not finished yet either.
At least the driver can keep us company. Oh, he's a talker, isn't he?
You can say that again.
So what do you think the action is in a place like this on a night?
I think this is the action.
Yeah.
The two brothers at the bar. That's your lot.
Yeah, so as you, like, it's still busy. Like, there's still a lot going on. Oh, for God's sake. Sorry, that was something I was trying to do in the background. There's still quite a lot going on. There's a few more farmers have kind of made their way in. You would have, anybody paying any attention to what's going on around them would have seen that the cart driver has kind of come in, kind of waited a little while at the bar and then kind of pushed his way grumpily forward, and was speaking to the barman, and now seems to be heading upstairs to where you can assume there are some sort of rooms.
So, yeah, I imagine we can either follow the driver's example and get rooms here, or, if you feel like it, we could go camping outside.
I mean, if we're going to have a night off, a room would be better, surely. We're going to be rich.
Throwing the idea out there, Tide. You know, can't just assume there's rooms in here with all these people around. Just imagine a place this size, there's not going to be very many rooms upstairs.
Endo just turns to Tide and he's like,
I know just that tide. Look.
and like Endo just taps a chair and a plank of it falls off.
It's like, I don't think it's very nice here.
It's.
I imagine, Endo, if you sneezed, it might put the building down.
Endo just looks at Jeremiah quite like scared. Like, what?
So, did you guys all start at the same time? Like, how long have you all been in the guild?
Yeah, we all started around the same time. We all met each other in a guild, and then kind of started our first job. Man, that was a day to remember with the troll in the cave system.
Gits started after the rest of us, didn't you, Gits?
Yeah, I wasn't there for the troll.
I think if you were Gideon, we would have probably got rid of it quicker.
It was certainly interesting watching the polar bears and the there were, what was it, 2 polar bears and a troll
Yeah, that's why we got the rug in that other room, remember?
I've wrestled a polar bear before. That's where like this scar's from. And he lifts up like the back of his arm. There's like a claw mark down his back.
Endo's like, ooh.
And what else have you been facing off against aside from the polar bear?
Please say these are the brothers.
They are.
They look like a bunch of helmets, don't they?
Yeah. I mean, so many tales. I've just done odd jobs all over the place for so many years now. I've strong-armed people. I've helped old ladies cross the road. Anything for some coin. Yeah, there's been lots of adventures, but I think it's going to be nice being part of a group for once.
Have you ever faced off against a golem / elemental type creature before?
No,
That
can't
was
say that's been on my list.
Well, when we get back to the guild, I'll have to show you the machete I took from a creature, because it was one scary, scary creature, and all of us were there for that one, because it wasn't a fun fight. Let's put it that way. We eventually killed it, but yeah, it took a while to kill it.
While they were talking, Endo turns to Gideon, and he's got a little book and a very, very haphazardly sharpened pencil. It's almost like a carpenter's pencil. It's that like naff on the end of it. It's just like been sharpened with a blade or something. And he just turns to Gideon and he's like,
Gideon, can you write your name in my little book, please?
Yeah, okay.
I use it to learn words and things, and so I am trying to learn how to spell people's names. I've been doing lots of things.
and if you look in the book, you'd see that all the way on the little journey, all the way on the cart, he's documented it, and he's like, went over 2 bumps. And he's trying to learn how to write properly, but he has absolutely no concept of what he should be writing and what he shouldn't be writing.
You know, I've got some of the same letters in my name that you've got in yours. Actually, all the letters that are in your name are in my name. So you can already write most of my name, probably.
That's awesome! That is fantastic!
So
Why
you just need to learn how to write these two at the beginning, and then you could write my name.
Oh, thank you.
Then he like jots it down and he scribbles a little bit, and then he turns and he's like,
You don't seem very happy. What is wrong?
I'm just sorry that I acted like that back at the guild.
It's okay. You were just trying to get more money, that's all.
Just sometimes think that maybe I'm better at talking than I actually am.
Sometimes Endo thinks he's better at some things than he actually is. Turns out, yeah, I good at one thing, and that's fighting. So I tend to stick to that.
Well, you're good at other things as well, Endo. You're good at cooking, and you're good at being really kind, and you're good at looking after Tathra.
Oh, so a bit like you then. You're good at more than just talking. You're good at helping us. You're good at making sure that we don't all die. You're good at trying to keep us together. So it's not just me, is it, Gideon? And he just gives you a little bit of a smile. Almost like he knew exactly what he was saying there.
How dare you emotionally manipulate me as Endo? How dare you?
Endo is learning.
I think that because she's been a bit sad that Gideon might have actually taken off her circlet thing that makes her eyes black. So I think she might put it back on so that her eyes go black, and you might not see that there's like just a little tear in the corner of one of her eyes.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm gonna say that Endo didn't notice that. He just noticed them go black, and he's like, "Ugh." And he's like, just turns. He's like, thank you for the help with the writing words, Gideon. Enjoy your drink.
Thanks for the pep talk, Endo.
Endo just gives you a thumbs up.
Okay, yeah. So as you've been kind of sat there, the bar's kind of quieting down a little bit. The two brothers are still kind of sat. They're now sat at the bar, and they keep kind of like glancing over at the table, and then kind of like leaning back, like towards each other, and like muttering to themselves. But you can't quite make out what they're saying.
Well, am I aware that they're still sort of looking and...
Roll perception for me. No.
I'd given them another thought.
Yeah, you're
You're a wandering wonder.
I was like, whatever, done with that.
Anyone else want another drink?
I'll join Gids here in a double rum.
Endo lifts up his pitcher and turns it upside down. He's like, yes, please, Jeremiah.
I'm good. I think I'm gonna try and. I mean, I can't really drink anyway. I'm trying to be good. I might go and try and make some money though off some of these unwitting, not unwitting, very wise people that are around us. So I might vanish for a little while.
Good luck, and yeah. If you do, let us know how much later, okay?
Sure.
If you need anything, just scream my name.
I'll remember that. While everyone's getting drinks, can I come up to this table at the end? And can I just put my tarot cards out and then whisper, but with thaumaturgy, so it's like a whisper that's 3 times magnified.
Yeah.
Just be like, and just going to look very solemn in the corner and wait.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So while Tide is waiting, there are like as you kind of whisper, I'm doing little air quotes, but you can't see me. A few these at this table here. All 3 of them kind of turn and look at you, Tide, and you can hear them kind of talking amongst themselves. And the woman starts making her way over. As she's doing that, is Jeremiah going to the bar?
He is, yeah. I'm gonna get 2 rums and 2 beers.
Okay. Yep.
Double rums.
Yeah, so two double rums and 2
A
beers,
pitcher.
please. Biggest you got.
Okay, yeah. So the kind of orc barman, now that it's calmed down a little bit, he's kind of taking a breath, like comes over kind of calmly, and he's like, so that's that 2 rums and 2 beers.
Yeah, make them double rums though, please, if you can.
Yep, no worries. And he kind of turns around and starts sorting that. As you get close to the bar, having seen that you've come from a table with Blaze at it, these two brothers are kind of like talking amongst themselves still, and then stand up and kind of move closer to you. They're not necessarily saying anything, they're just kind of like moved along the bar, so they're stood right next to you.
I glance at them and just raise my eyebrows.
The one that's right next to you kind of like looks and he's like, yeah, problem.
I'm just surprised you moved it so quickly. I mean, I'm going back over there, and I gesture my head back towards Blaze and Endo and Gideon. I'm just here to pay for my drinks and go. That's all.
Yeah, well, maybe you should tell your friend not to grab people.
He's an approachable guy. Go and have a chat with him yourself.
They kind of like glance over, like, 'cause to you they're trying to be very intimidating, but as soon as they kind of glance over and see Blaze again, they kind of like lose any confidence that they have, and they're like, no, you tell him.
I'll bear it in mind.
So as you're kind of doing that, the orc kind of comes back, puts the drinks on, and he's like, right, yep, so that's 5 silver, please. Are you all right here? Are they causing problems?
Nah, no worries whatsoever. And I'll slip him a gold. That's for your troubles.
Oh, thanks, yeah. Right, lads, get away. Enough. Don't want any trouble tonight. And the kind of guys, like, give you, like, another stare and then move back to sit down where they were.
I'll head on over the drinks and be like, okay, Endo, here's your beer. A double one for you, Gideon. A double for you, Blaze. There we go. That was everyone, wasn't it?
Yep. Cheers, buddy. So, does Tide do this often? And like, I'll point over to him, like, what is he doing?
Oh yeah, I mean they're very powerful, very, very capable of reading the auras and that kind of thing. I don't really know what they do, but they're good at it.
Endo likes to play Snap with his cards when Tide's asleep.
Wow.
Endo, honestly, what? Do you keep an eye on you more often? And yeah, there was a tent in town at one point. We had a circus in, and Tide paid it a visit, and we're not quite sure what went down inside there, but and it seemed that Tide kind of owned the place after a while.
He owned the place.
Well, I understand that there was somebody else in there initially, and then there was just him. So I never heard any sort of fighting or anything like that, but it just seemed to be a, Tide walked in, and then before when I think Gideon, you were in afterwards, didn't you, to see what was going on? And
Yes, I was not involved at all, though, in anything that happened after that.
Never saying you were. I mean, you're one of the sensible ones, like myself.
Yes, indeed, that is correct.
Endo sensibles.
You are indeed very sensible.
Thank you.
But yeah, it seems that, well, two people were in the tent, and then one of them left the tent.
Right.
And I didn't hear any sort of fighting, or like screams of pain, or anything along those lines.
Right. Okay.
That was also the day that Endo, and I break out into a massive smile, bought an entire food stand and had it delivered to the guild.
Oh, that was nice, Jeremiah. Oh, I have fond memories of that.
Yeah, now that I can get behind.
There was cakes and there was floss and there was candied apples and oh, it was so nice, Blaze.
I
Mm.
literally just like went up and went, "This is Endo's," and just took it all from the company and went, "I'll buy it off you."
Good day's business for them.
It was very nice. I could use a snack like that again.
You call that
Well,
Endo,
yes, I'm a growing boy.
you are, but that was not a snack. A snack is, maybe one or two, like, candied apples at most, but not like two cartfuls.
I did have to have a little sleep, and then obviously I then had my supper as well. Yes, it was a good day. Yes.
So while you guys are having a chat about snacks, Tide, you would have noticed that a youngish woman kind of made her way over to you and was kind of followed by a small child that appears to be her son. She kind of comes over and she's like, did you say, are you magic?
I think Tide kind of sits up very straight and puts on a very like mysterious aura, mentally, not physically. He's like, "Ah, yes, it is me, the great Tide. I give readings and I am magical. Meow."
Can I like be keeping a little bit of an eye on Tide, and when I can see when I can see them talking to someone, can I like cast message and like just make like kind of like spooky echoes of like everything that Tide is saying? Or like just like little spooky noises like oh ah oh.
Sure, yes. So this woman looks very impressed. She's like, I think I've heard of you.
Yes, I'm not at all surprised. Yes, magical, mystical, meow. Would you like a reading?
How are you doing that?
It is the whispers of the great beyond. Seriously, would you like a reading? It's 1 silver. Would you like a reading?
Yes. She kind of like rummages in her coin purse and then puts 1 silver down. And she kind of like puts it on the table and then slides it with 1 finger towards you as if she's quite scared about getting too close.
I very, very, very slowly, my mage paw just kind of comes up, this spectral paw just comes and moves it across the table and onto my lap.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Yes. So, tell me, do you want a general reading or do you have a question in mind?
Well, okay. Our farm has been struggling recently. The crops don't seem to be doing as well, and I'm just wondering if that's going to change, if our luck's going to change, or whether we just need to pack up and move on.
Yes. Well, pick a card. I like splay all of the, like, in that very camp way that people that do tarot cards like splay all the cards down. I'm like, hover your hand over the deck until you feel a card that speaks to you.
Speak?
Ooh, ooh.
I think they're all speaking to me.
It's one silver card. You can pick more, but
No, just one then. And she's kind of like moving her hand over, kind of looking a bit confused, like she's not sure what she's doing.
can you feel it? Can you feel it yet?
This one. That one.
Yes. Flip it over. Quickly before the magic is lost.
Okay. And she kind of like very hurriedly turns it over.
Aha, the Eight of Wands reversed. The perfect card for you, I think. You are being faced with many delays that hinder you. You feel like you have no control over any of the circumstances, no?
Yes.
Yes. At times, you can only wait. Perhaps this time of rest will be good for you. I would urge you to stay on this path and battle it out.
Oh, so we should keep the farm.
Yes. There are obstacles in the path, but good things beyond.
Oh, wow. Oh, and you can see all that just from that card? Because it doesn't...
Yes.
Oh!
A cow. I see a cow in your future.
A cow?
Yes. Do you have a cow on your farm?
No, we don't have...
You should.
Oh.
You should. Wait until you find a cow. Get a cow. That is your reading.
Get a... okay. All right.
Thank you.
The kid is kind of looking... Let me just roll. Yeah, so the woman looks utterly convinced now. She is like, ooh, like, that's amazing. Roll performance for me.
Sure.
Am I helping with my ooh?
I mean, with a 28, you probably don't need to. Yeah, okay. And the kid kind of, like, has been sat kind of watching very quizzically, like, but then looking at his mum and seeing that his mum seems very convinced, he kind of, like, goes, oh, okay. And starts running back over and he's like, Dad, we have to get a cow. Where can we get a cow from? Could we steal a cow? And the woman is like, I just, thank you very much. Oh, magical, great tide. And she kind of like bows as she's kind of backing away. Like she's a little like scared to like just
tell others of my name. Tell others of my name. It's all word of mouth in this business.
Yeah, yes, I will. Yes. And she's like, no, we cannot steal. And you can hear it like tell it while the father's just like, what? Like clearly exhausted from his day.
While that's going on, I'm gonna head round to this table here and just try and hear, just like, have you heard of any monsters in and around the area at all? Because plenty of travellers, I imagine, come past this place.
The kind of like the pair of them kind of like are drinking and chatting amongst themselves, and as you come up and start talking to them, they both kind of turn and just stare at you, and they're like, hi, we were having a conversation.
Oh, my apologies. That was the answer was no then in that case. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, okay. And they kind of like are stunned for a second and then shake their heads and kind of go back to having a conversation.
My brothers, do they have any visible weapons?
I'll tell you one second. Hello. My roll 20 has been really slow. Yes, each of them has a mace kind of tucked on their waistband.
Okay, yeah, no, that's interesting. Anyone else around the bar have weapons?
Roll perception for me. No, as far as you can see, like this guy here has what looks like a dagger, kind of, but it's very, like, from looking at it, it's not necessarily used for fighting. It's quite kind of blunt, and he's probably just uses it for like cutting rope and things like that. But none of the others seem to have weapons.
Okay. Cool.
Tide, as you are still sat there, this man kind of having watched what happened before heads over and standing up. He does not sit down at the table. He's kind of stood up, like looking down at you, and he's like, what did you do to that lady?
I saw her future. I gave her advice. Would you like a reading?
You can see the future.
Oh, yes. Yes.
It kind of like raises an eyebrow. He's like, I'm not sure that that's true.
How could I prove it, young sir?
Well, how could you prove it? Because you could tell me that something's going to happen in the future, and I don't know that it's false until it doesn't happen.
Oh, I think you cut off there for me, Lynn. Sorry.
He says, how could I prove it? Because you could tell me something's going to happen in the future, but I don't know it's false until it doesn't happen, do I?
You don't know that I'm not telling the truth, though, do you?
Well, no, but... Huh?
Yes. Yes. Now sit down and have a reading.
Roll persuasion for me? Yeah, he sits down. Okay, what do I do?
You pass the spirits, the silver. My mage paw comes creeping back up over the table.
Fantastic.
And like makes like a little come hither thing with one of his paws.
Very hesitantly kind of drops a silver in it, like from as high up as he can reach, kind of, and then
Very
pulls his hand
quickly
back.
sneaks back under the table. Do you have a question in mind, sir, or a general reading?
General, I guess.
So, and I give the tarot a quick shuffle and again lay it out in front of the table. Pick a card, any card. It will speak to you. Ooh.
He immediately reaches for one and flips it over straight away.
Nine of Wands reversed. Are you close to achieving your goals, sir, but you find yourself burdened with responsibility and that you don't have any support?
Do I?
Do you?
I don't know. Maybe? Possibly.
Sir, what's going on? What's going on in your life that you feel burdened by? There must be something.
Well, I mean, my brother won't move out, and he's been living with us for years.
Oh my god. What a disaster. Are you holding all of his responsibilities also? Is he doing the cleaning, the washing, the garden?
He does nothing. Nothing at all.
You must push forward and kick him out. There's only a little bit left in this journey, and you cannot stay without paying his way.
That rhymed.
Yes, I'm magical. And also a poet. If the future rhymes, it must be true, sir.
So I should kick him. You're right. He's a freeloader.
Yes. Yes, he must do the gardening at once or leave.
Yes. Yep. What was it? What was your name?
It's the magical, mystical Tide. Tell your friends. I'm here all night.
He kind of immediately stands up and storms over to the guy that he was with. And he's like, right, I've had enough of you freeloading. The poor guy was stood just having a drink. He's like, I've had enough of you freeloading. You're out. That's it. On the street, I don't even care. You're holding me back in my life.
Can I give the guy that I just gave a reading to bardic inspiration?
Yes. And the poor brother is just absolutely baffled. He doesn't know what's going on here. And kind of like, it's like, what? And the guy's like, listen, if you don't get out now, I'm going to throw you out. And the brother starts kind of heading out.
Well, another successful day.
Ruining families.
Empowering. I'm empowering. I'm not ruining.
Sure. Nobody else seems to be interested in coming for a reading, though.
Amazing. I will wait here for a little longer and just maintain my mystical aura. But yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, go on, sorry.
I was just, I was really like, so yeah, Endo, you're a big guy. I've been curious since we got here. Keen for an arm wrestle?
Okay, but I don't want to hurt you.
Oh, I'll be fine.
Okay. So like, Endo just plops his elbow on the table and holds the table. He's like, Endo, ready?
Blaze ready. Straight back the last of the realm. Like,
Yeah, okay. You're arm wrestling. That's straight strength for both of you. We'll do like 3 rounds. Oh, Endo!
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh, wow!
I don't know why I done it with advantage, but
It's alright, I'll take the left one anyway.
The alcohol there.
straight down.
Yeah, and
Yeah, so
Endo's just like,
Yes.
oh, he's very strong. I think my elbow slipped.
Sure. Whatever you want to say, Endo.
Ready?
I'm sure why I was rolling with the advantage thing.
You're not raging, are you?
No, I don't believe so.
On Beyond 20, I mean.
I'm just gonna look.
I can't.
Back the other.
Oh, yeah, back the other way.
Oh, alright. You got something there. Alright. It's not just
Yeah,
chunky.
My elbow slipped. Hey, it's no chunk, it's power. I have the strength. Are you ready for more?
Sort of like cracks his knuckles out in front of him, and then like just stumbles a bit. Yep, let's do this.
Okay. I warned you.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Yeah, right. Yeah, okay. Well, I drew my side.
I will say for you though, Blaze, you're the only person that has ever pinned Endo's arm. So
Wow.
you must be very strong.
Okay,
I
so
reckon Churros can take anyone in this room.
Why would we do that? What are you talking about? Like Endo's just looking around confused, like there's no hostility in the room. We don't understand.
was that like a raw that you did there, kind of.
Yeah.
As you kind of do that, like these guys, these brothers were watching the arm wrestling. Like they were watching it with interest. And in the first round, when Blaze absolutely destroyed Endo, their eyes were wide. They were really, really nervous. And then they kind of saw it go back the other way. And Endo kind of beat Blaze quite easily. And they're kind of stood like smirking. And then when you let out that roar, they kind of jump a little bit, but then try and like straighten themselves off, and they're kind of like smirking again as they kind of like look over, but then looking like doubtfully at Endo as if like, could we take him?
What I think Blaze means is, if you and he sat on different tables, then other people to come in and try and arm wrestle you, and as you're both as strong as each other, then you could say do a silver for 3 arm wrestles, and whoever wins gives the other person a silver.
Oh, like a game, like at the carnival.
Yeah.
Oh, but
But
I
rather
don't
than-
need no money. I don't do money things like that, Dora Maya.
I mean, it's not the. Let me put it this way: the money helps to fund the guild, so it all helps us out in the end.
Yeah, but I don't need to do that and take this money from these people. And those got lots of money.
Yes, you may have, but we can always. There's a few rules in life, and one of them is you can never have enough money.
Well, Endo's got a few rules in life too, Dora Maya, and that's not one of them. Okay, these people are poor, very much like Endo was when he was little, and I won't take their money. I will play like strength games, but I am not taking people's money. I am sorry, I will not do that.
Fine, it's entirely your choice. If Blaze, if you want to, I'm not going to say don't do it.
Well, I mean, look at all these. There's no one here that's a challenge. Plus, we've got a lot of money waiting for us.
I
So-
nod over at the 2 guys who he previously was quite intimidated towards. Like, those 2 might want to have a go.
They immediately look away and look down at the beers and are like trying to look anywhere in the room that is not towards Blaze.
Yeah, I don't think so. But we've got this prize, quotation marks, waiting for us when we knock off this gig. So should we call it an evening and get back on the road tomorrow?
Yeah, we can try and find some rooms.
Endo can sleep on the cart. So nobody steals it.
I'm sure the cart's been taken care of by the driver. I'm sure he's got it secured away.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so what's the plan? You're going to get room here?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
I think the barman might know how many rooms are left.
Yeah, as you approach the bar, the brothers kind of shuffle away as the barman kind of catches that out of the corner of his eye and is like chuckling to himself as he kind of walks over to you. It's like, yeah, more drinks?
Actually, looking to turn for the night. How many rooms do you have available?
Depends. Are you wanting to share or?
Do you have like triple bunk, double rooms, single rooms? What's the whole rundown?
I've got a triple and then, well, are any of you a couple? I've got a double and a couple of singles.
No couples. I'll look back at everyone. Don't quite know you all well enough yet. How do you usually like to split up the sleeping arrangements?
Endo happy to sleep anywhere.
I mean, usually we're one each apiece, but depends on what's around. I mean,
Well, I'm no offense, good sir, but I'm guessing there's probably not 5 single rooms available.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
so long as I think Gideon and Tide separated, if I wanted a better phrase, 2 singles and a triple.
Yeah, I can do that, yeah. Is that acceptable?
Works
I'll
for me.
glance on over at Gideon.
Were you saying Tide and I need to be separated, or we don't want to be separated? Sorry, I didn't catch what you said.
I'm
As
pretty
in,
sure
as soon as you're not, I come back over and be like, I know what you two are like, causing chaos. So, a night of peace.
Well, only in a very wholesome way, Jeremiah. We wouldn't just go around causing chaos for no reason.
Endo
lean
literally just
over
glares
and-
at Gideon when she says this.
I just lean over and whisper in Gideon's ear and walk back. Yeah, I think a triple and 2 singles, please.
Yeah, that's fine. So, that would be 4 silver.
And I'll push that over to him.
Fantastic. Yeah. When you're ready, just head up the stairs for the little corridor to the north, and you'll find your rooms.
Thank you, good sir.
Yeah, thank you. And come back on over. We're like, well, we've got some rooms for the night.
Yeah, I'm gonna go turn in. It's a long journey, kinda tired. But I'll catch you guys at the border and hope you don't mind the snoring.
Yeah, I've been communing with the beyond for too long. I'm gonna go to bed too. As Ty's like yawning and stretching.
Night, everybody.
Hazel rush these guys like, "Rah," as he goes past.
This one physically jumps, almost like throws himself back onto the bar, and then his brother kind of like starts to laugh, and then like stops, and he's like, "Oh, yeah, sorry." I will ping you up there.
Yeah, I would go to bed as well.
Yeah. Come on, Endo. Let's get our heads down.
I missed the full directions upstairs and where?
Down that corridor that you're looking down. Is Endo and Gideon going upstairs as well, did you say?
Yeah.
Yep.
Endo? Yep. There you go.
So the triple is at the end, I'm guessing.
D D D D D D.
Endo's just shot off somewhere. So the rooms are up to the corridor in the north. Yep, up here.
Oh.
The triple's in here, and then I think one of the singles
This is a single
is
here. There we go.
Endo cannot find himself in the right place.
No, Endo. In here, Endo. There you go.
Endo can't see because there's no light.
Ah. That should be done.
Dynamic lighting is not my friend.
Oh, there is not a light in that room. That's why.
Nope, there's no light source.
Now there should be.
Yeah, there we are. Endo can see. Yeah, so Endo does his he stands in the middle of the room and he does some exercises and stretches, and you would hear thud and then thud with his legs as he slams them down into the ground as he's stretching. Does his little calm preparation, stretches his arms, and then just jumps onto bed.
Does the bed break?
Carefully. He
I was gonna
carefully
say.
jumps on the bread. He does not yeet on there with his entire force. Otherwise he'd be back downstairs.
You wake up the next morning, having rested quite peacefully. The beds are not overly comfortable here. Everything is quite basic, but you weren't attacked or anything like that, so you slept okay. And
That makes a change.
yeah. There is no breakfast laid on or anything like that.
What?
Here.
What?
Yeah, they don't do that.
Oh my god.
So as you kind of make your way downstairs, you would see that the bar is now pretty much empty. And the same half-orc is still kind of cleaning up, making sure everything looks okay. As you make your way outside, the cart would be waiting for you with Mr. Grumpy, cart driver, sat waiting, kind of like tapping his foot impatiently.
As I come down, I'm going to knock on Tide and Gideon's doors, respectively, be like, "Come on, you two, wake up."
Before I go out, my mage hand appears and just like sticks a finger up at Jeremiah.
Okay, yeah.
I
Sort
just
of
flat out
aggressiveness.
walk through the mage hand, not pausing.
Thank you, my good man. Hopefully see you on our journey back.
He kind of gives you like a wave and then it carries on kind of like moving barrels around and things, clearly getting ready for the day.
Cheers, buddy.
Morning, Gideon. Where's the food?
I don't think there is any food, Endo.
I'm sorry, what?
I think you need to go and talk to Blaze. He was in charge of sorting the rooms.
What? No food. What? Blaze! Blaze!
He's just gonna be calling after him and go downstairs. He's just gonna follow him.
Okay. Is Gideon heading down?
Oh, yes, I am as well. Sorry.
Okay. Here you go. Tied up to mischief look.
Just having a look round.
Yeah, so the cart would be kind of just at the side of the road here-ish.
The race is on, gang. Let's go.
Race? What race?
The race. We've got to win to get paid. Driver, did you not know this? Crucial piece of information.
I love how Gideon takes the window.
No. Nobody tells me nothing.
Oh, well, quick shot. Let's go. Double speed. Run the horses. Yeah.
Blaze. Where's the food? Where's the breakfast meal? The first meal of the day.
I'll
What's
reach into my
happening?
Bag and just pull out one of my ration packs and be like, "Lunch on this. It'll do you good."
What?
I pull
Oh,
out mine and just start munching, and I'll be like,
I feeling weak. Okay, is there a place where we can go with the cart and maybe where like we can pull up outside a place that does food, and then through a little window we collect the food as we are traveling?
I don't think that people do that just yet. They prefer to sit down and eat inside for some strange reason. I don't know why.
But I'm
prefer
gonna
to go
eat.
out and
I'm
kill
gonna
nothing.
eat this, Jeremiah. But I feel like I'm gonna pass out. Nobody
You
said
won't pass
nothing
out.
about no breakfast.
You won't. You won't pass out.
I feel weak, Jeremiah.
You have plenty of meat on your bones. You will not pass out.
It just gives him a really like. Endo gives him a really shitty look. Like, you plenty of meat.
What are you trying to say, Jeremiah?
You're plenty of strength. Therefore, you are not going to be weakened.
Oh,
Perfectly formed, Endo. Perfectly
okay.
formed.
Okay, that's better. That's what I thought. Yeah. Endo just gets on the car and he's chomping his ration pack. Obviously very hangry.
You could flatten me any day of the week you wanted.
Oh, I can't make it smaller.
Okay.
Who is doing this? Tide?
Let me hint to everyone. I'm just looking at time.
Okay, so once you kind of are all on board, the cart driver sets off again, kind of much the same. His demeanor is not changing, even though you've been with him like a week and a bit now. He is clearly. It's almost, you could say, that he's going slower. He's going a little bit slower now. He knows that you're in some sort of race.
Wow.
So like before, he was properly whipping up the horses, kind of getting them to move quickly as if he wanted to get this over and done with as fast as possible. And he's still moving at a decent pace, but it's nowhere near as fast as he was.
I would like to just say to him, very sorry, won't speak to you again, but have you considered that the faster you go, the less time you have to spend listening to us?
He kind of like turns and looks at you. And he's like, nope, I hadn't thought of it that way. Giddy up! And like kind of whips the horses up to start moving. As you're kind of moving, you are now getting to kind of areas where you may not have gone this far yourselves, depending on whereabouts you're from. You would know that Baldur's Gate, because it would be signposted, is kind of over down this way. But you make your way past that, kind keeping on the tradeway, and then as you come to some woods, you turn off and head through the woods. This path is a lot less populated. It's not as well built, so there are actual potholes on this road as you kind of make your way through the woods. The driver looks a little bit nervous. As you come out of the other side of the woods, you would see huge mountains either side of the road, so here and here. They are absolutely massive. You can't see the top of them. They disappear into the skies, and the driver kind of pulls up in a walled town just at the foot of some hills where the path or the road you can see goes on through the hills. Right. We should probably stop here for a little while, get some rest. The horse needs a bit of a rest.
I tap Gideon on the shoulder and go, "Is that the range that we need there?"
It's further to the east, I think.
Do you actually know where you're going?
Yes.
Yeah, just testing Gideon.
These are the Sunset Mountains. But you knew that, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Nope, never been here.
Kind of like turn, like having stared at Doramiah and Gideon and be like, It's almost like it's refreshing to have the just brutal honesty of Blaze being like, nope, never been here. And he's like, well, these mountains are a bit infamous, you know.
But the sunsets?
No. Dwarves. Dwarves everywhere in these hills. You gotta watch out for them.
Endo just reaches up and rubs the scar on the side of his head. And he's just like, yeah, you gotta watch out for them dwarfs. They're squishy though, so don't worry. It's okay.
The driver kind of like leans in and is like, well, yeah, maybe the dwarves are squishy. What about the yetis? Or the ogres? Or the white dragon?
Ooh, a dragon? Oh wait, no. Yeah, I don't want to fight the dragon. I'll hug a yeti, but I not. Oh, Doramiah.
Yeah.
Can we go back now, please?
Do you not want the 800 gold?
I like being alive. It's nice.
So do I, but you know, we're here to do a job, and we're not here to do a job in these mountains. We're going past these, past a few more, and then we reach to. I think there's about what 2 more woods, roughly speaking, and then we reach the mountains we need.
Doramiah, I'm a little bit nervous about fighting a dragon that flies in the sky and shoots its elements at me. Okay?
We don't know if it is a dragon we're going to be fighting.
Well, I mean, you won't be fighting this dragon. This dragon was slain years ago.
Oh, whew. Why didn't you just say that? Oh,
You didn't ask.
I'd end up very worried then. I don't care about the yetis and things, but oh, my word.
Well, either way, we're resting here. I'm gonna head to the stables. I think the horse needs some new horseshoes. There's the inn. The watchful eye. Be careful.
That with a degree of uncertainty, what's wrong with the watchful eye?
and he's already kind of like leading the horse off, and he's like, "Oh, you'll be fine. I'm sure you'll be fine."
Fill me with confidence. Can I scan the horizon for a dragon?
Yeah, roll perception for me. There's clouds and mountains.
Right, I have roll perception higher than a 7 all day. Great.
I'm gonna head into the watchful eye and have a look around in the doorway.
Yeah, okay. So, if you thought that the inn that you were in before was kind of run down, this one is very much run down. The building is pretty much just wooden walls, a roof, and shutters over the windows. There's nothing to it. It's kind of had the watchful eye kind of scrawled on the wall and an eye drawn above it. As you enter, it is quiet. There's literally no one in there except a drow woman stood kind of to the side of the bar.
I'll turn around, gesture for everyone to come over, and just be like, when we come in here, we're gonna over triple the number of people in there. There's literally one woman.
How am I going to make my fortune off one woman?
I mean, she looks to be elven, possibly drow. But,
You never know, Tide. She might be rich.
Ooh.
Well, is that going to be an issue for you two? Looking at Jeremiah and Gideon.
I've spent too much time in the woods. I don't pay too much attention to the elven politics system.
Not a problem for me.
Okay, well, heads up, could be a problem for her.
Wait, what do you mean? Why did you ask Gideon? I thought you was a peoples, not an elf.
I gesture to myself. I, at least, am elven by my mother's side. I'm not sure.
I know you've got pointy ears, Jeremiah. But what? Gideon?
Yeah, my
Gideon,
father was an elf.
Oh, I did not know. I'm very sorry. I did not mean to be rude.
That's all right. I'm not offended, Endo.
I didn't see the pointy ears. I don't know why. Sorry.
Most likely because she always wears a hood. I mean, it is useful.
That'll probably be it.
I mean, shall we grab some runes, or do we like? Does it look structurally sound, Lynn?
Pardon?
Does it even look structurally sound? This ramshackle.
Yes, probably just about. Yeah.
That doesn't fill me with confidence.
Hate to
Yeah,
say
probably.
it,
Maybe you won't die.
but I don't think this inn has rooms. It just looked to be a roof, a bar, and a few tables. Doesn't look to be much else.
Well, if you don't ask, you don't know. I'm just going to walk in.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll follow.
So will Endo.
Yep, in for a penny, in for a pound.
I'm gonna hang outside.
It's like, I'm good here actually. Yeah, so as you kind of go in, it's very kind of dark and dingy in here. The smell of kind of like, just like almost like mold kind of hits you, and the kind of drow woman looks up. She's holding a glass of what looks to be wine. She kind of like looks up, her eyes widen a little, and then she turns her back to you and keeps drinking her wine.
Rude. Is there like, does it look like she's working here, or is she?
There is nobody else in here. No barman, no anything. No waitress, nothing. There's just her sat at the bar.
Okay, I'm gonna go up to the bar.
Yep.
And kind of like look around behind the bar. And then I'm just gonna kind of like look at the woman, I guess, and go, what do you have to do to get a drink around here?
She puts the wine glass down. She's still kind of facing away from you. She's like, what do you want?
Well, have you got any rum? Any beer?
We have beer.
Okay then. A round for all of my friends, and another glass of that for you if you want it.
I don't need you to buy me drinks, thank you.
All right, I was just trying to be nice.
And she kind of like glances at you very briefly, and she's like, well, don't. And then goes behind the bar and starts slamming like glasses down, filling them with what looks to be very, very weak ale. And then puts, 4 down? I guess you can see 4 people. Yeah, because Blaze is outside.
Sorry, I've just seen that gif. We could go if you'd rather. Is there another inn round here?
Nope.
Okay then, well, how much do I owe you?
And she kind of like hesitates for quite a while and is looking you up and down. You can clearly tell that she is deciding the price rather than it being a price. Yeah. So she's like, that's a silver each.
Seems quite expensive for not very good beer.
Well, you're free to go to the other inn in town. Oh, wait, there isn't one.
We done something to offend you?
And she kind of just like narrows her eyes and goes, no, not at all.
Oh, cousin, great. Well, I mean, if you don't want to earn any money...
I do, 4 silver. You always end up talking to the sassy.
No, it's like, why?
Gideon is not having a good day today.
No, my charisma's deserted me.
I'm gonna head up to Gideon and be like, why not just give her a gold and call it even?
I'm speak up behind a gold. She's been a naughty bitch.
I'm not giving her a gold. I would rather die than give this woman a gold.
That could be arranged. And she kind of raises an eyebrow.
I'm just gonna like grin at her, but like in a not very nice way. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I would love it if you tried something.
She kind of like hesitates, kind of like trying to check. Are you trying to intimidate? I guess you are intimidating her in a way. Yeah, roll intimidation. Is anybody assisting?
Oh, it's so close to an 18.
Absolutely not. Endo is not. Endo is confused by this whole situation.
I will be behind her, so I'll put my hand on the hilt of the sunstore and just like draw an inch of it out of the sheath and be.
Oh, so you are trying to help Gideon.
Yeah.
Okay, you can roll again. Okay. I just need to check the wording on something.
God.
Oh,
Everyone roll
great.
initiative.
Great. Yeah. Blaze is stood outside right now, just like.
Yes, it probably is tied. It probably is. I was
Right.
talking to Gideon, so I didn't catch that. So that will be 7, please, psychic.
Great, thank you. It's best to be honest.
Oh.
Didn't catch that he called her a bitch.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not helping. I'm kind of wincing and holding my head and
Yeah.
silently calling the woman that cursed me the same thing.
Silently, in your own head, not to anybody else, not out loud.
Yes, in my own head.
Not verbally. Not verbally.
She kind of like, initially, when it's just kind of you, Gideon, she kind of like smirks as if she's willing to try. You know, she's willing to give it a shot. Mm-hmm. And then she kind of like, her eyes kind of dart to look kind of behind you as Jeremiah stood there and obviously holding on to his sword. She kind of just, ugh, you're not worth my time. 4 silver.
We're not drinking here. I'm just gonna start shoving Jeremiah towards the door.
Okay, yep.
I'm just gonna call back over my shoulder. You know, you're in a customer service based job. You might want to work on that a bit.
Burn.
Thank you so much for the advice. I'll take that on board. And then she goes and sits down and starts drinking her wine again.
Yeah.
What a bitch.
Endo, just before leaving, Endo just like gently like skulks up to her and he's just like, I'm sorry about my friends. Nice to meet you. My name's Endo. Bye. Because he's just completely confused by the whole situation.
She kind of like frowns a little in confusion and then shakes her head and carries on drinking.
Just before, just as I
Gonna
as
burn the house down.
No, just as we're
Oh, Lord.
walking, just as we're walking out and we get out, I just like glance over my shoulder and I'm gonna cast darkness in the bar, so it just like plunges into darkness.
Okay.
And she won't be able
Amazing.
to see anything.
Oh my god.
Yep. Okay. How long does that last? Just out of interest.
It's only like 10 minutes.
Okay. Yep. Cool.
I just.
Cue to later on, we find out that she tripped, fell over, died, and she had a huge family she was supporting, and now they're all being sold into slavery.
I mean, if she's supporting him, she's not doing a great job.
Yeah.
Gonna be honest.
True, very true.
Gonna be honest.
I'm going to glance over, see the darkness in the tavern, look at Gideon, raise an eyebrow, and be like, really?
You deserved it.
Yeah, I agree. I quite agree. Rude.
Are you all outside now?
Yeah. Well, I've come outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're outside.
Yep.
So what's going on, guys? Why are we out here?
Because they have bad beer and Gideon didn't fancy paying for it.
She was trying to overcharge me for no reason, and it was watered down, you could tell.
I did say it was bad beer. I didn't say it was good beer. But yeah, that's the long and short of it.
Everybody was saying words that I didn't really understand, Blaze, but people seemed very annoyed. That's all I know.
Fair enough. So what's our plan then?
Well, we can't go there I gesture with my head behind us, because I doubt there'll be any rooms whatsoever in that place. And if there are, they'll be extortionately expensive. So I'm going to scan around. Are there any other buildings in and around the town other than the inn we were pulled up outside?
Yeah, roll perception for me.
Perception, certainly. A 14.
Yep. Okay. So, other than the inn that you've just come out of, you can see that there is what appears to be some stables where the driver of the cart kind of took the horse there. And there is a store kind of next to it that seems to be making saddles and things of that nature. Further, like a little further down the road, you can see that there is a shop that seems to be for wagons and repairing them. And the only other house of note or building of note that you can see other than just standard houses looks to be a temple that's a kind of right at the bottom of the street that you're on.
And I'll point all these out to the group as I see them and go, well, there's the stables, someone making tack and saddles for horses there, and the temple down the end. Best bet, I'm guessing, would be the temple.
I mean, we could just camp outside. You can try the temple, but
I mean, I'm all up for camping outside. You know me. I'm not afraid of having a roof over my head. But if you want a roof over your head, thinking back to your words last night of why should we camp outside when it's perfectly good in here, then we may as well try the temple.
can we see who the temple is to, Lynn? From here?
Not from where you are. You would need to get a little bit closer, probably.
I'm gonna head down towards the saddle making shop and then have a look at see the more obvious sign of who the temple's towards.
Okay, yeah. So as you kind of head towards the saddle making shop, you go kind of past the stables where the driver is talking to a woman there, and they're kind of examining one of the horse's feet. He kind of like looks up, raises an eyebrow a little bit quizzical about why you're out there. Can you roll religion for me, please?
Yeah, certainly. Not too bad in religion. 15.
Okay, yeah. So as you kind of look down, this temple seems... It almost looks like a fortress. It's very solidly made and looks very like it'd be easy to defend. And as you kind of like squint to like look down and see if you can see any signage on it, you see a staring eye on an upright left gauntlet, which you would know, you kind of like think, you would know is the sign for Helm, god of protection.
Wowzers. Okay. I'm going to head back to the group and be like, yeah, from what I can see, there's the temple is the Helm, god of protection. And it looks like it would be more well defended than, dare I say, Waterdeep. It is seriously so well built. I imagine it would be a castle in its own right if it was possible.
Which makes me think they're hiding something.
Yeah, why would this...
They might not be friendly. They might not let us in.
So, Duremaya, you would also know that normally followers of Helm are lawful.
They would let us in. They're not going to turn away people who are approaching honestly, but I get the feeling that first sign of some sort of distrust, and they may turn against us.
Bit like my temple order. I'm sorry, Tide. What was you going to say?
No, I was just going to agree with old Fiery Boy here. Like, why would this be so well fortified in the middle of nowhere, right, Blaze?
Yeah, it's very
Right, we're in a
strange.
this is a bit of a dust bowl. There's not a lot going on. But with the dwarves nearby, maybe they're hoarding something.
I mean, ultimately, if there's dwarves nearby, there was probably still are a few of those yetis and other creatures around. So I imagine it's partly funded by the dwarves. Probably be a safe bet to guess at this rate, but I am just guessing.
Or it could be to protect from the dwarves. I've seen dwarves fight firsthand. They're very devious and strong.
Just like everyone else in this world, we're all devious to a degree. But yeah, it's I can imagine that the dwarves have helped fund this place, which is how the temple looks so nice compared to, and I gesture to the inn, and just leave it at that. I mean, think about it. Dwarfs and elves, not the best relationships in the world. Let's be honest. And judging by the state of this building, I'd say it's had one owner since new. So
What do we want to do? I'm easy either way, but you can't just chill.
as I walked past the stable, the driver gave me a glance to say, "What are you doing out here?" But you know, he didn't actually ask a question. He just was curious as to why I was walking down the street.
Well, he's certainly found his tongue, hasn't he? Nosy.
Endo is fine with sleeping in a temple. I'm used to temple people. I do know that if your guests are a temple, that stealing and lying and things like that is not. They don't like things like that. So
The last one we stayed at was Ilvata, but this one being Helm, I mean, entirely possible that we can stay here and we'd be welcome, but there may be guards outside our rooms if we were to stay. For want of a better phrase.
I mean, I'd feel secure in my sleep.
I don't mind.
We can approach the temple then, if you wanna.
Temple time.
Sure, lead the way.
And as well, not as confident as I feel just yet, but I'll start walking towards the temple. Not rushing, but not a slow walk either.
Okay, yeah. So as you kind of start making your way down the street towards the temple, those that Durmai told it was a fortress would be like, hell yes, it is a fortress. It is a very secure looking building. It possibly was a small kind of castle at some point that has been converted, maybe. It is very well protected as well. There is an iron fence kind of going all the way around. However, the gates at the front of it are open, as are the doors of the temple at this moment in time.
Lynn, you keep breaking up slightly. I do apologise. I don't know what it is. I only heard some of that.
I don't know what to tell you. I can't.
I didn't
anything.
hear about the gates.
They are open at the moment, as are the doors.
Okay. Thank you.
And so, yeah, with everyone still behind me, I'm going to not stop and just walk into the main part of the temple, glancing around to see if there's anyone there.
Yeah, so as you kind of head into the temple, there's a kind of quite a small like entranceway, and then you can see that it opens up into a very large chamber, which is quite tall as well. And there is an altar right at the end that it looks like an upturned sword, and has the unblinking eye of Helm set within its pommel. And there are quite a few what you would assume are priests. They are kind of wearing robes, but they're wearing robes over armor.
Oh, right, okay.
As they're kind of like walking around. Like, they don't pay a huge amount of attention. They seem to be busy kind of doing things around the temple, cleaning, like putting like flowers out and things like that. They seem to be kind of busy amongst themselves.
Blaze has stayed outside.
Okay.
And Endo's gone inside.
Yep.
He would probably try and get someone's attention.
Yeah. So as you kind of go further inside, one of the there is a female, a human female with like fiery red hair, and she kind of like, as you're like walking in trying to get her attention, she kind of stops, and is kind of holding like a basket of fruit in her hands, and she's like, "Yes, everything. Are you all right? Everything? Have you come to pray?"
Hello. No. My name is Endo. I am from the Order of Eldath. I just wondered if me and my friends we needed somewhere to stay, and the inn or the tavern up the road did not seem very nice. Do you have any accommodation for us, please?
Is the tavern, you're not staying at the tavern?
The lady in there did not seem very nice.
Yes. Yes, she is a little abrasive.
I don't know what that word means, but probably.
Mean?
Yes, she seemed mean.
We don't have anything fancy here, I'm afraid. You could, if you have bedrolls, you're more than welcome to stay here. And she kind of gestures to the main room.
I think my friends would. I would be okay with that. Duramiah, shall we ask everybody else?
Yeah, we will. Thank you very much for the offer.
So Endo would just bow to her and say thank you and let Duramiah finish what he's saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll come back with our response shortly.
Oh, okay. She kind of bows as much as she can because she's carrying a big basket of fruit. She's like, well, if you can't get my attention, then feel free to talk to any of the priests.
Thank you, and I never caught your name. What is it, please?
Oh, Meredith.
Right. Thank you very much. I'm Jeremiah, and you met Endo.
Nice to meet you.
So yeah, then I will head back towards the group. So we've got the options of run out bedrolls here, but that's the option at the moment.
Sounds better than going back to that tavern.
Yeah. How did they seem? Normal? Nice? Weird?
Yeah, quite friendly and certainly welcoming.
They were very, very nice and polite, and they said that the lady in the tavern was mean.
Yeah, very understanding as to why we're not staying there. I
Yeah.
imagine we're not the first people.
Yeah, I mean, we could get an early night, kip up, and leave tomorrow morning, early doors. Not much to do in a temple, I don't think.
I mean, aside from pray,
Nah.
Endo frowns a little bit, but doesn't take anything personally.
Yep, so are you heading back in?
Yeah. Should we get an early night and then try and get back on the road and beat the other people there?
Or just beat the other people?
That too.
yeah, the way it was worded was, as long as they got the corpse of the animal, they didn't mind who killed it, as long as they got the corpse.
I think in Blaze's mind, it was as long as they got the corpse of the animal, they didn't mind about any other corpses.
Well, as long as we've got the corpse, it doesn't matter who's killed it.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So yeah, I'll head back in and try and look round for one of the priests and see, be like, excuse me.
Yeah, so as you kind of head back in, there still are quite a few people kind of wandering around, but coming from one of the back rooms are 3 quite heavily armoured people who are kind of coming towards you, not aggressively, they're just coming to go past you and go out, and seeing that you're kind of trying to get people's attention, like they kind of stop and they're like, you all right there, citizen?
Yeah, just wondering, just to try and, well, make it known that we're going to be spending the night here. It was offered by Meredith, but just want to get someone to, so people aren't wondering why there's 5 people sleeping on bedrolls in the corner tonight.
Ah, I see. Right. And he kind of like turns and he's like looking around trying to see if he can see anyone. He's like, Mirandir, come here. Come. And a kind of elderly looking guy who isn't dressed in armor. He does just have robes on, kind of comes shuffling over. And the heavily armored guy kind of explains what you want. And Miranda is like, you're wanting to stay here the night, yes?
Yes, please.
Oh, you're very welcome. Just wherever, as long as you're not in the way.
We won't be.
Are any of you injured?
Not to my knowledge.
And what kind of injuries are you pertaining to?
Any. I'm a healer, and, well, people come here to be healed. I wondered if you needed my assistance.
Do you heal curses? And I like big cat eyes looking up at him.
Let me see if he does. He kind of like looks you over, kind of tilts his head from side to side as if he's really studying you, and he's like, cursed? Who cursed you?
Some nasty woman, completely unprovoked, really. Not nice at all. Was really awful. It's been a really difficult time for me.
Tide. Tide. Was it completely unprovoked? Or was that a lie?
Oh. Yeah, that was a lie.
That was a lie. That's three more psychic damage.
Tide winces. Maybe not entirely unprovoked. I honestly forget what I did, but I did something, and that is honest. I was just being a bit. I don't really know.
Oh, you do seem in pain. And like as he sees you wince, he kind of like moves forward and he's like, What does the curse do?
If I lie or if I say a bad word, it hurts a lot. Like a lot.
Have you tried not lying or saying a bad word?
Yeah, but sometimes things just happen, right?
Well,
I'm certainly better than I was, I think. And I like brace myself to see if, because I think that's true, but I don't know if that's true. I like wince and brace myself and wait.
Nothing happens. So you'd say you've learnt your lesson.
Mm-hmm.
Have you learnt your lesson, Tide? Does Tide think that's true?
Is Tide lying?
No.
No. That's 10 psychic damage.
Oh.
I just really want it to be over, please. Please. Please.
Yes, I can see that you seem to be in a lot of pain. Come with me. Come, sit down. And he kind of guides you to one of the pews.
I get on my knees and I'm not gonna finish that sentence. I adopt a prayerful posture. Is that better?
Yes. The old man kind of like nods a little and then puts his hands on like either side of your head and kind of like muttering under his breath as you feel like warmth kind of flood through you and feel almost a weight lift from you.
Can I very, very, very quietly just whisper to myself, bitch, and then brace?
Roll stealth.
Stealth?
Yeah, you're trying to whisper, right?
Oh god.
Yeah, but mainly for my own benefit.
Yeah,
Bear in mind there's three heavily armed paladins stood near.
yeah. You're literally, this guy's just cured you, and you're like, bitch.
Yeah.
No, it was a very curious.
No.
It was a curious. It wasn't.
It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, he doesn't hear you, and nothing happens.
Oh thank god.
No pain.
I jump onto him and lick his face, and I'm like, "Thank you."
What?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Please
Thank you.
stop. Please.
Yes, I regain composure. I'm like jittering with excitement.
Well, and he's like straightening his robes, like a little flustered. It's like, well, anything else?
No, I don't. Do you want paying? Do you want payment? Do you want? I don't know. I like reach into all of my pockets to see if I've got anything. And can I give him there was like a silver camp ring that we got in the camp.
Okay.
Can I like present it to him as like a gift?
Oh, well, we always welcome donations if you're willing, but there's no obligation.
No, please. I'm very grateful. Thank you. And I like just try and push the ring into his hand and close his fingers around the ring.
Yeah, he kind of gladly like takes it and kind of like bows a little. He's like, "Oh, thank you, thank you. Well, feel free to rest if there's nothing else. I have things to get on with."
Yeah. And I run back to everyone. I'm like, guys, I'm fine. We still need to get that witch. Like, she's going down. But I'm fine.
I just look at Tide and go, which one?
The bitch.
And there is no pain.
And there is no pain.
Endo just gives him like a rub on the head, like just strokes his head.
But Tide,
Yeah.
which one? I mean, do you mean the one in the tavern or one from previously? Because I got no idea who you're on about.
The woman from the fair.
What woman from the fair? I wasn't in that tent, were you?
Oh, well, when I see her, I will know, and I will tell you, and we will get her, and she will pay. Trust me on this.
Would Lynn?
Yeah.
Would Endo know that these are paladins based on his little background that he's had?
Roll religion for me.
I would do if I could find it.
Oh hell yeah, yeah. Yes, you know that these are paladins, and even more.
I can tell by the way they're dressed.
Yeah, by how they're dressed, how they're kind of holding themselves. You're used to seeing paladins, and you would know that they are probably paladins of Helm. Yeah, that is what you would know.
Yeah, so like after we walk up, obviously I'm assuming we walked past them, so Endo would have just like nodded his head to the paladins and just like been very meek around them because he was trained by paladins and monks, and so he would have just been like, Master Paladin, and just like eyes down sort of thing.
Yeah, they kind of like the three of them are kind of still like stood because they were watching what was happening, because obviously Tide was injuring himself, but they were like, why is he in pain? Do we need to help here? As you're kind of like, oh, Master Paladin, like putting your head down, they kind of like look quizzically at each other, and they're like, you don't need to bow to us.
I was just showing respect. You're a paladin. You train and you better yourself, and Endo does the same thing. And I was trained by paladins. We were taught to give you respect.
I see. I'm not familiar with your order. Apologies, friend. And he kind of like reaches out his hand.
Yeah, and Endo just like again he just bows and he puts his eyes down, sort of like it's not like submissive like fear. It's just complete respect.
If you are a warrior for good, my friend, then you have our respect too. And all three of them kind of bow their heads. Not like a full-on bow, but like just kind of nod their heads at you.
Endo just like smiles, or like he's full of joy, and he's just like,
I am a sumo in the monk order of Eldath, for the goddess of peace. I fight to protect people.
They kind of smile and they're like, we are paladins of Helm, vigilant eyes of the god, and we also protect innocence.
so yeah. With that, he's just very giddy because he's not been around his like paladins and like he's almost his own kind, if that makes sense, for a while. So he just
smiles and he says, "Thank you for letting us stay tonight. I will make sure there is a donation."
They kind of like bow and they're like, "Well, forgive us, friend, but we have a job to do." And they kind of turn and start walking out.
Yep.
I turn around to Endo and just look and go, are they expecting trouble in a small town like this?
I imagine, Jeremiah, that they are always patrolling the areas to make sure that people are safe. I don't think that we have anything to worry about.
That's not what I'm worried about. I'm just, it's a very quiet place, this place. So I am just surprised to see so many people wearing such armor because there's, well, so few people around.
It's normal in a temple for the paladins to be ready to fight. Always.
Fair enough. I rarely spend time in temples. I'll be honest.
Oh,
It's
they are
a
nice
while from
peoples.
my home.
They are nice peoples. Sometimes they are grumpy though.
That sounds like somebody else I know in the morning, and I just glance over at Gideon as I say that.
Mage hand flip you.
Oh
off.
god.
Gideon's got chewed.
Gideon's going through it this session. I
Yeah.
Oh yeah. How just Uthi, how old is Gideon?
feel. She's like,
She's like
19,
19,
I
isn't
think.
she?
Yeah.
What would be her racial like teen years? Would it be classed still as about around this time?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, she's a half elf, so I
So it
always
could be
imagine that.
could be the human side then.
Yeah, she's definitely a teenager.
Yeah.
She feels in her soul that she's a teenager.
Just the angst, the
A
pure
very
angst.
emo teenager.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
much angst.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
Okay. So are you settling down here for the evening?
Yeah, we'll find one of the corners where there's no displays or something around and just get rid of all that bed mats.
Yep. So it's quite a spacious room. So you're able to find enough space for you all to roll out your bedrolls. I always imagine that like Endos must be massive.
Yeah.
It's like a double bed version of one.
Well, he doesn't have like it's not like an actual sleeping bag. It's not very soft. It's more like interlaced thin layers of bamboo, but it is the size of a double bed.
Okay. Yeah, so as you're kind of all laying those out, you would notice that the priests and priestesses are kind of shutting the doors and kind of making sure that they're all closed down as it's getting darker. And the Meredith, the priestess that you spoke to originally when you came in, kind of brings over a candle, quite a thick candle that's going to last for quite a while, and kind of places it down near you. And she's like, there you go, just in case you need it.
Many thanks.
And I brought you these. And she kind of puts down quite a big platter that's got like fruit and some cheese and some meats on it.
Endo just turned to her and just hand her a very small pouch with about 10 or 15 pieces of gold in it. And he'd just be like, "Can you please give this to the order?"
Oh, yes, as a donation.
Uh-huh.
Of course, yes, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the food.
You're welcome. We're all heading to bed now. There will be a couple of us kind of wandering around, just making sure everything is safe. But rest easy.
Thank you, and rest easy yourself.
She kind of like bows and heads off, kind of out past the altar and through a door that's at the back. And everything seems to kind of quieten down as most of the priests and priestesses are sleeping. Is everybody going to sleep?
Yeah, Jeremiah will be.
Yeah.
Yeah, Endo will do a little bit of cleaning first. He'll probably find a brush and then just do some sweeping up near the shrines and stuff, and then go to sleep. It's just he's used to being in that environment and doing stuff like that. So yeah.
Okay. So everybody can take a long rest.
Can I do something possibly a bit stupid?
Oh, here we go.
Oh my god. Oh my
yes. Always.
So, I would like to go back to that tavern.
Oh my god.
God. Okay.
I'll burn it down.
And before I go in, I would like to cast Disguise Self on myself
Yeah.
to make me look like a drow.
Okay. Yep.
But like different to me, not like Gideon if Gideon was
Yeah.
a drow,
Yeah.
like disguised as well, so I just look like a different person.
Mm-hmm.
And I gonna go into the tavern. Is it still just the woman in there?
Yes. Yep. Still just a woman. She's not kind of sat drinking anymore. She's kind of, I say cleaning, but she's not really. Like, she's holding a broom and kind of like occasionally brushing it across the floor, but it's clear that she hasn't cleaned in here for a very long time.
I'm just gonna go. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna go up to the bar and wait
Okay.
and see how she reacts to me.
Yeah. So as you kind of go up to the bar, she kind of like looks up from what she's doing, clocks you, and then comes and gets behind the bar, and she's like, yes, can I help? Yes.
Oh, just passing through town, and it seemed like this was the only tavern. But are you open?
Oh, yes, we're always open. Yes.
Oh, right. What drinks have you got?
I wouldn't recommend the beer, but you could have some wine.
Sounds perfect. Thank you.
And she kind of pulls a bottle from under the bar, pours you a glass of wine, and pops it down.
How much do I owe you?
Oh, 2 copper.
Oh my god.
Bitch, I knew it!
Racist.
I'm just gonna like wink at her and give her a silver.
She kind of like blushes a little and then kind of puts it in her pocket. She doesn't even put it anywhere that seems to be like a till or anything like that. She just pockets it.
So, do you get a lot of people through here?
Oh, occasionally. Most are, riffraff.
Yeah, of course. I imagine it must be. I guess you're a little bit off the roads out here, just on the edge of, people coming down from the coastal road and stuff. You must get all sorts of weird people coming through.
Indeed, yes. You should have seen the people in here earlier.
Oh, really? Is there? What happened?
Well, I mean, I'm not one to gossip, It's not really my thing. But a bunch of, well, one of them looked like a child. Brace yourself. A half-elf.
Oh, God.
Oh, it nearly made me vomit.
Oh wow.
And then the size of one of the other. Oh, obese. Just obese.
Hey.
Disgusting. Disgusting. Thankfully, they didn't stay.
Well, it sounds like you dodged a bullet there.
Definitely. Definitely. But I'm happy to have such great clientele as yourself.
Well, I mean, why don't you pour us another drink?
Oh, yes, of course. And she kind of gets the bottle out again, pours you a wine, pours herself one.
Willpower can help you do incredible things.
I'm just going to be like full on charm offensive. Just like, you know, like it lasts for an hour, disguise self.
Yep.
So it's just going to be like chatting to her, getting her to keep topping the drinks up. Then like I top her drink up, and like yeah, and just just trying to like flirt with her and like all that kind of stuff as well, and see if she like goes for it.
Yeah, roll, I guess, persuasion,
Okay.
I guess. Ooh, nice, yeah. She's lapping up everything that you were saying. Every time you kind of fill her drink, she drinks it all. She's getting a little tipsy.
Do you have rooms for the night?
Oh, yes. They're rather basic, I'm afraid, but we are the only inn in town. You're welcome to stay. And she kind of like gives you like a flirty smile.
Well, I find it hard to believe that any room of yours is basic.
She blushes. Are you wanting to stay? You can stay.
Yes, I think so.
Well, I tell you what. It's on the house.
Oh, I couldn't possibly put you out like that.
Oh no, it's fine. You're welcome here. It's fine.
I like put my just like touch her hand.
Yeah, she doesn't pull her hand away or anything. She's blushing fiercely now.
I like start to lean in a little bit.
She's like, here in public. Okay.
Like the second I'm like, as soon if she starts like reciprocating, I get closer, and literally like seconds before we would kiss, I'm gonna drop disguise self.
Okay, yeah.
I'm gonna drop it and look like me again, and I don't even know what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, so she's kind of leaning forward. She's got her eyes closed at the minute. She's like anticipating this kiss.
I'm just gonna go, remember me?
Her eyes bolt open, and she's like, what? And she's like, as if she's going to vomit.
I was just gonna be like, you're the worst. You're awful. You shouldn't judge people by how they look.
How dare you? How dare you come in here? What? I'm going to call the guards. Guards! Guard! There's no guards in there. She's just yelling, like, randomly to guards.
Like, you'd be lucky to have a stay at your inn and drink your shitty beer. Just ranting absolute nonsense at her.
Get out! Get out now! I wouldn't like the likes of you half-elf scum.
I'm going, and I'm gonna like, what can I do? What have I got?
Fireball.
As I walk out, I'm gonna do Arms of Hadar, which is like the thing where like the black tendrils like come out of me and batter anything around me within 10 feet and just like trash all the room. Like, I don't want to hurt her.
You're not hurt, yeah.
I just want to trash like all the furniture, all the tables, all the like everything.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you absolutely try. Like, this furniture was shoddy at the best of times. So it's like a flick from these things, and it's just falling apart as she's kind of stood, like jaw hanging open, just in shock as you walk away.
As I walk out of the door, I'm just gonna send my mage hand floating back in, giving her the finger.
That's your like thing today. That is your thing.
Definitely.
And
Okay.
I'm gonna head back to the temple, and I'm gonna try and sneak in and hope nobody noticed that I disappeared.
I think only Endo would probably still be awake, having said that he was
Doing some chores.
So roll stealth for me. Endo, do you want to roll perception?
I
mean, you're probably not gonna be able to. She is the darkness.
Yeah.
Oh, close, very close. Yeah, Endo's kind of up and about, but he's kind of up by the altar, kind of really making sure it's very clean around there. And he doesn't spot you as you manage to kind of sneak your way back in and onto your bedroll.
Like chuntering to myself, like racist woman, like getting comfortable, pulling a blanket up over me. I go to sleep.
Okay. And I'm assuming once you've cleaned Endo, you would also be sleeping.
Yeah, he was just sweeping up, that's all, making it tidy and showing a bit of respect, and then he'd go straight to his bamboo mat that he's got laid down and go to sleep.
Okay. So you can all take your long rest, and that is where we will end this session.